We are live in the same place we were, I think not the last time, but a couple of times ago. There's not a lot of people on the streets today. However, the weather is actually pretty good, so let's see. Hey, you want to try a social experiment? Um, yeah, let's see what will happen. I hope you can hear me okay. And yeah, you guys want to try a social experiment? Hey, Pig's Dream, nice to see you. Can you hear me okay? You want to try a social experiment?
Yeah, why not? Go ahead.
Are you okay being live from my YouTube channel?
Oh, we're by, Mom. What is a social experiment?
I just ask you some questions. What's your name?
Yomi,
Nice to meet you. I'm Chip.
nice to meet you.
So,
Is this gonna be intense?
no, I hope not.
Oh.
Are you against oppression?
Am I against oppression?
Yeah.
What do you mean, am I against oppression?
Like,
I don't
what do
think
you?
oppression is good, no?
Yeah, you don't think
Okay.
oppression is good. Okay. I don't know
Is
how
this-
else to
this
phrase
is
this
sick
question.
talk.
Yeah. Okay. Do you think that the powerful should have the right to oppress the powerless?
No?
No. Even if they benefit from it, and by they I mean the powerful.
No?
No. Okay. And even if the powerless are don't realize that they're oppressed.
Who's being oppressed? What are we talking about?
So if the powerful wanted to oppress the powerless, right? One individual who has power over one individual who doesn't have power.
Yeah.
Do you think it's okay to oppress them if
I don't think anyone should be oppressed.
Oppressed.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. Do you think we're oppressing animals when we're forcing them into slaughterhouses for us?
Yeah, it's possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you consume any animal products?
Yeah. Do you not?
No. Do you think
Oh.
do you think you can maintain your status of being against oppression while at the same time
Yeah.
supporting it?
I think so.
So how is that? How does that work? Isn't that not a contradiction?
No, I don't think so.
I mean, if you say you're against oppression but you pay for oppression, isn't that a contradiction?
I mean, I'm being oppressed all the time
You're being oppressed?
Yeah.
How are you being oppressed?
because one, I'm a woman, two, I'm black, three, I'm bi. So I think I'm quite oppressed.
Does that mean, is that a good enough
So,
justification
I
to
think
oppress
that's my
animals?
answer. Sorry, guys.
Is that a good enough
Sorry.
justification to oppress more animals?
No, maybe not.
So why not stop oppressing then? Hello, Martin. Hey, the LPN. Hey, Joshin. Joshin, the Buddhist vegan. Mr. Manx. Can you guys hear me okay? Oh, yeah, you can. Ben Day 0419 asked me 1 through 10, how gay are you? I mean, I'm bi, so I don't know, 5, 4, but I would say I'm probably 4, not 5. I would say I do have a preference for women, but I also like men. Does that help? Giovanni, you don't like octopus, bra? What do you mean? I respect octopuses. Octopi, yeah. Snowcat asks, wait, are you actually bi? I actually do have some physical attractiveness to some guys and some physical attractiveness to some girls. So I guess I'm bi. I don't know if I would call myself bi per se, but yeah. If you want to call me that, call me that. Whatever. I don't care. Justin says, what a cop-out answer she gave. Yeah. I'm oppressed, therefore I can justify oppression, right? Snowcat says, okay, I keep scrolling. Okay, scroll away. You should be in funny papers, says Kevin Science. Kevin Spence, sorry, why did I read that? Science. You should be in funny papers. Why should I be in funny papers? Am I funny? Thank you for saying that I'm funny. Hey, MED. You guys want to try a social experiment? You want to try it? Just ask you some questions, that's it. Are you okay being live for my YouTube channel?
What channel is that?
Oh, it's just my YouTube channel.
Oh, YouTube channel. Okay.
Yeah. What's your name?
Donald.
Donald. Nice to meet you. Aren't you? Where are you from?
Originally Trinidad and Tobago.
Nice. I don't think I know anything about Trinidad and Tobago.
No, yeah.
Nice. Well,
West Indies. I haven't heard about the West Indies, the Caribbean.
Oh, yeah. I know that. Yeah.
Okay.
That's cool. Okay. So I'll just turn this around and you tell me what you think. It says animal abuse should be legal.
Should be legal.
Yeah.
Why should it be illegal?
Well, do you think animal abuse is bad?
Definitely.
Are you against animal abuse?
Yes, sir. Very much so.
Why?
Because I mean, they cannot speak for themselves. They are really depend on us. We domesticated them, so we're supposed to take care of them.
Are we supposed to? Is it a moral obligation to take care of them?
I guess so. Because I mean, they help in some way. Maybe not physically, but they help mentally. They help us.
What if they don't help us? What if they're just on their own and they don't
Still,
help
we
us?
need to take care of them.
Still we need to take care.
Yeah, we are the one who messed up the world in a way, yes.
Okay. How would you define abuse? Because you said you're against abuse.
Well, abuse is anything that take you out of your natural being or being in your comfort zone. I will call that abuse.
Okay. Okay, that's a good enough definition. So it's wrong to abuse cats or dogs.
I guess so.
What about cows, chickens, pigs?
We all have to live in this planet together.
So it would be wrong to abuse cows, chickens, and pigs.
Exactly, but we need them for our protein in our diet and things we still need.
Can we get nutrition from any other source?
Yeah, but some of us are allergic to certain protein from some source. So
Like, what are you allergic for?
I'm not allergic, thank God. I'm not allergic to anything.
Ah, okay.
I'm good, thank God. But some people, they cannot eat animal protein. Some people cannot eat plant-based proteins.
So is it safe to assume that you consume animal products?
Yes, sir.
So do you think you can be against animal abuse while simultaneously supporting it by paying for animal products?
As I say to you, we all have to live on this planet and we have to be moderate of everything we do. We cannot abuse nothing.
So would it be moderate for somebody to kill humans and eat them?
I mean, they did it once before, so
So you consider that moderate?
not really. Not
So
really.
why is it moderate to kill animals and eat them then?
Yeah, but listen to me. What I'm saying to you, okay? We all have to be respectful of each other on this planet.
So how are we respecting animals when we're bringing them to life for the sole purpose of killing them, while we have other alternatives?
Okay, let's take for example the trees, right? Let's take for example the trees. We need the trees.
Can you please answer my question first, and then I
no,
can
what I'm
go
saying to
on?
you. We need the trees. I heard your question. We need the trees in order to protect the environment and things like that. But we also need the trees to build our houses in order to live. We need
Well,
the
we don't
trees.
need animals in order to survive or thrive.
Yes, we do.
No, we don't. There's plenty of scientific evidence that we can thrive on a plant-based diet. I'm living proof that we can thrive on a plant-based diet, and millions of other people are the same.
Yes.
So how
Right.
can you claim that we do need it when we don't?
We do need, as I say, everything is in moderation in this thing.
So
Okay.
again, in moderation, if we were
Uh-huh.
to kill one human every week in moderation, would that be moderation to you?
Yes and no. Because listen to me. Hear my point very thing, right?
understand your point.
You're growing a garden, right? You're growing a garden, right? You have plants in the garden, all different type of plants in the garden. But in order for this plant to survive, you have to eliminate this one. Is that wrong? But the weed is also a plant.
If you have to, no.
What I'm saying to
And
you,
if you don't have to, like if you do it because you want to,
if you,
if
do-
you kill animals because you want to, is that wrong?
yeah, what I'm saying with moderation. Because
So if we kill
have-
animals in moderation because
if
we want
have
to,
too much animals, listen to me, if we have too much animals in the world, according to the type of animal, then they eradicate us.
so then probably we shouldn't be breeding them to existence if you think we have
Well,
too
then
many
if
animals.
we breed them to survive, to eat. In order for we to eat, we have to survive.
And
So
you
we
think,
have-
according to your own values, it's okay to bring sentient life to give sentient life, to bring them to life, only to enslave them and kill them when we think we need them, when we don't actually need them, right? So when we claim that we want them, so you think it's okay to bring to life an innocent sentient being, to exploit them and then cut their throat because you know what? That's what we want to do
we
with
also
them.
have to in fact, we need scientific proof of what is to come and how will we survive, how will we know this is wrong and this is right. So this is why sometimes we have to breed animal in order for we to to, to to really test them to see exactly what is right from what is wrong. Do you know what is right?
Well,
I'm asking a
according to
question.
my
Do you
own
know
values,
what is right?
I know what my values are. If
No.
that's
Do
what you're
you
asking.
know what is right and what is wrong? Do you
Well,
know
I
that?
know what my values are. Yes.
I asked you a question. Do you know what is right and what is wrong? Do you know?
According to my values, yes.
Yes. So then you're the perfect human being then.
So, but you said what you said, right? You said you're against animal abuse,
Yes,
yet
I'm
you
saying
choose to support it,
moderation. I
right?
tell you everything I said to
So
you.
animal abuse in moderation is okay.
Cautious of what I said to you. Everything in moderation
So animal abuse in moderation is okay.
is more in what that's it. If we have to do it in order to survive.
Though we don't
Yes.
have to, and if we don't have to, since that is the science behind.
That was your opinion.
No, that's not my opinion. That's
That's your
science. If you don't trust science, that's okay. You don't have to like if you're against science or something like that.
Yeah.
That's your thing. But I just start on the scientific consensus, which has been established for at least 20 years, that we can thrive on a plant-based diet, right? So I mean, hence why there's so many people who have lived and died on a plant-based
Yeah.
diet. Their whole entire life have been super healthy. There's athletes
So
who.
let me ask you a question. Are
Yeah.
you against abuse of animals?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's why I don't support it.
What you do support?
Yeah, and that's why I try to talk to people to see if they say they're against it, why is it that they're supporting it?
Well, I say everything is in moderation in this planet. You see
So
right
animal
now,
abuse in moderation is okay. You-
It's just that some people,
Listen.
if you eat meat, they're not looking at it as like abuse. Or this is, a form of my food supply. They're not looking at it in order to get this meat, you have to kill someone.
But do you think that from the perspective of the victim, from the perspective of the animal, it is abuse and it is killing somebody?
I'm just saying, in terms, if you look at it that way, like with killing, you understand, killing across the board, we're all like living things. You understand?
But when it comes to actions that involve exploitation, murder, shouldn't we look at the victims and take them into consideration?
Yes, no, and I say yes.
So
but then
shouldn't
I'm
we
not
only
saying-
do them when it's absolutely needed then, not when we want to or when it's convenient for us to do so, or when we were taught our whole life that that's how we should do it, yet
I know, but
we
then I'm
can
just
survive
saying
and thrive
when you
otherwise?
Think about with animals being killed. If you're talking about just abusing a cat and a dog, most of us we don't. Certain cultures they eat cat, they eat dog. But in our culture, what we don't know, we grew up in eating meat. You understand? Like the cow provide the milk, they provide this. So that's what we.
Is that a good enough
forward.
justification to continue doing something that is
No, I'm
immoral
not-
just
no,
because
I'm
you
just
grew up
saying no,
doing
but
it?
You see, because you mentioned something about your value system, but for some people, all right, I didn't do it. This is just provided for me as a meal source. You
So your
understand?
value system says it's okay to kill animals even when you have readily available alternatives. It's okay to exploit them even.
I'm not saying no. You understand? I'm just saying.
So tell me, what's your value system? Is it okay to kill animals or
Can
to
I-
exploit them when
No,
you
but
don't
no,
need
you
to?
see, you're coming from
Can,
a
can
from
I
a different
can I just
angle.
interrupt you
Yeah,
for
from the
1 minute
perspective of the victim.
of your interview? You're coming across to us like you're angry
You're
with us or
convicting
you're
us,
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm not angry. I'm not
no,
angry at all.
Yeah,
That's the way you're
that's-
coming
yeah.
across like you're angry about
It may seem
us.
confrontational,
you
but
asked
it
me
is.
for my opinion. I give you my opinion, but it seems like you want to blame me for the rest of everybody who kill everything.
Oh, no. There are certain
I'm
animals
just-
who are exploited and
Right.
killed
But
specifically
I'm
for
just
you
giving
and because
my
of you.
opinion of what it is. Okay, you asked me for an interview, I agree, but you're coming across like you're trying to convict me of
We didn't know
of
that, what it was
I
all
think
about,
this is
you
what
know? We didn't know it was
this
all
is my
about.
opinion. Okay, that's your
You're free to
opinion.
go whenever you
No,
want. Just be aware that
yes.
all the animals that you are forcing into
I know-
slaughterhouses are
I-
not free to go.
I know. Listen, yes, I hear you, but
They are
you
bound
asked
in
me
that
for-
situation because you
asked
put
me
them in that
for
situation.
A interview,
But it's not me,
a
which
civil
is the
interview, and you're convicted me for killing all the animals in the world. Nice.
There
meeting
are
you.
certain animals
Good luck.
who are
Okay?
specifically exploited
May
and
the
killed
may the
because
Lord-
of you
may
and
the
for
Lord
you.
be with you. We all have to live here together in one unity.
So therefore,
Okay?
we should be
So-
killing whoever we want just to get taste pleasure from it.
I never said that.
Well, that's what you're saying with your actions. Well, you can say whatever you want with your words when you say that with your actions.
You're kind of just narrow-minded.
Yeah, I'm the narrow-minded one, exactly. Chip's not angry. He just doesn't like the question. It just found out. Wait, what? It went out fast. Yeah. I'm being arrogant. Yeah. Says Giovanni. Sure. I'm being arrogant for holding somebody accountable for something they're doing. Sure. I am the one being arrogant. That's so funny to me. Imagine raging because every argument you come up with is easily countered. Exactly. What's the point, right? He says he's against animal abuse, but when he comes to supporting it, he says in moderation. Okay, so in moderation you support animal abuse? No, 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 that's not what I said. What the hell? Hey, you want to try a social experiment? Vanilli Villi asks me if I believe in God. No. What God? Wait, what God? Because there are thousands of them. Which God should I believe in? Jackie S says he just doesn't have an answer. His guilt took over. Yeah, I mean, today I normally I'm a bit more nice to people, and maybe I'll be nicer to somebody who is not trying to justify exploitation, abuse, and murder. But otherwise, I just want to hold them accountable. I don't like them. I don't like people just justifying animal exploitation by saying we grew up with it or we don't think of it that way. So who cares? Start thinking of it that way. Mafia says the God that created you. There's no God that created me. My mom created me. So if you think I believe in my mom, I believe that she's a person. So yeah. You want to try a social experiment? You're as nice as ever. Just some people require a more direct line of thought to reach those conditions. Yeah, I've also been looking a lot at a lot of videos with I think the atheist experience. That was so. I love them. I love the whole their whole channel is so good. And I guess I go a little bit because I've been into that whole mindset. I go a little bit into debating mode quite fast. I don't want to do that, but I do want to hold people accountable. So yeah. Do you realize how much animals are killed in the process of farming for plant-based diet? What happens to the gophers, ants, moles, worms, etc.? Most die when plowing fields for your soy. Hi, you want to try a social experiment? It's so funny, like this crop deaths argument that you mentioned is, it's by the way a really expired one because it's been debunked thousands of times. It's like literally you just heard one argument and you didn't even hear the response to this argument. So I'm going to give you a chance. You can go to Google and Google this argument. I'll just give you this chance and Google why it's not a good argument against veganism, because there's so many ways that this argument is not good. Like it's not just one, but many, many ways, right? Many ways. So please, go ahead and look at that. I'm going to give you a chance. Look at Google and then come back and tell me, or just, just say, hey, I'm incapable of finding a response to this. I want to hear your answer. And then I'll give you my answer. But I want you to do your homework first. You can't just be spoon-fed information. You need to at least try. You need to at least try. Come on. We're adults here. We're people who think, right? Who ration. We have to at least try, not just come up with arguments that are easily debunkable or have been already tackled before. Smugger Croc keeps saying, Chip, can I ask you something? You asked 5 times if you can ask me. Just ask away. Why do you... Yeah. That's why you cry about animals, says Ray Croden. Yeah, sometimes I cry about animals. It saddens me, the fact that we exploit and abuse them for something that we don't need. Yeah, it is very sad, Vanilli Villi asks, is blood life? I don't know how to answer that question. Blood is plasma plus nutrients plus, yeah, some cellular life, I guess. Why would that even matter? Is blood life? There are certain cells, blood cells, right? They are alive because they're cellular. They're cells. What do you mean? The whole crop death thing is so off the table, guys. Lol. Just gently rook into the stance. Yeah, exactly. Well put, James. Hey, you want to try a social experiment?
No, I'm good, man.
Okay, no worries. Hi, the place, please. I'm in Amsterdam. Here you go. That's why so many bikes. To the moderators, please don't mute anybody, don't time anybody out unless they're being disrespectful. If they're asking questions, it's okay. If they're repeating even, it's okay. Let them repeat a little bit. Unless they're really spamming and stuff like that, then they're spamming. Then time them out. I'm trying to think of another reason, but I can't come up with another reason of why you should time them out. But please, make the policy no timeout unless absolutely necessary. Okay? Thank you. Just because we want to have positive conversations, we want to, you know, that's the whole point of the chat also, right? Hey Pia, nice to see you. What is the experiment? I say some stuff. You'll see it in a second when somebody stops. Hi. You want to do the experiment? Are you okay being live for my YouTube channel?
Yeah, of course.
Can you come a little bit closer so that you're in view?
Yeah.
What's your name?
Daniel, nice to meet you.
Daniel. I'm Chip. Nice to meet you.
Chip?
Chip, yeah. Where are you from?
From Mexico, Chip.
From Mexico. Okay. Daniel, are you against oppression?
Against oppression. Probably, yeah.
Yeah, okay, interesting. Do you think that the powerful should have the right to oppress the powerless?
No.
No. Even if the powerful get some form of benefit from it?
No. Well, of course not. Like,
Okay, it would still be wrong. And even if the powerless don't realize that they're oppressed?
can you repeat?
Even if the powerless don't realize that they're oppressed?
There comes an issue, right? Because the powerful reality is not really the same reality that other people are living. So it still is not right. But
Yeah, it's still wrong, right?
yeah, it's wrong, but they might not know.
Okay, I love it. So we've established kind of a moral baseline where you say that you're against oppression and you mean it, right?
Yeah.
Because do you think there's a scenario where oppression makes sense?
No, not that I can think of.
Okay, now let's imagine this other scenario, that there's this company who splices up DNAs. They just mix and match DNAs to try and create, to solve issues in the world, right? So they mix a DNA of a dog with the DNA of a human, and they create a dogman. This dogman looks exactly like a human being, but has the brain and the mental capacity, the intellectual capacity of a dog.
Okay. It's crazy.
It's a different species, basically, right? That
Yeah.
looks like a human but behaves like a dog. Would it be okay to oppress them?
I think I know where this is going. I think that still oppressing an animal is not right.
Yeah.
But if we see reality, that's not always true, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's kind of tough. Because
Do you find yourself on the other side of as being the oppressor in situations where you might be supporting animal oppression?
Yeah, of course. I mean, I'm sorry to say it, but yeah, I eat kind of meat from animals. I
Yeah.
use products that are tested on animals. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
I love it, Daniel. You got it from the start. So, how do you think you can maintain your stance against oppression while simultaneously supporting animal oppression?
It's a tough question. Yeah, I don't think no. I think it's actually contrary. I'm contraring to myself.
Yeah,
When
exactly.
say that, but
Yeah.
yeah, I think it's like something that society needs to move on little by little. Because if you try to tell someone that he's not right, he's not going to change. Because nobody likes tell him that he's not right.
Exactly.
But yeah, I think we need to start making changes. Yeah.
Yeah. So, do you think you have a moral obligation to stop this oppression then?
Yeah. I think all humans have this moral.
All
moral
of humans
obligation.
have this moral obligation. I appreciate that. Okay. So, okay, then what is it that is keeping you from stopping this oppression at this moment, right now, from never supporting animal exploitation, abuse?
I was actually treating this subject the other day. Okay, I'll be honest. I love
Yeah.
meat.
Yeah.
For example, there are these cows, for example, Wagyu cows, that they are treated real good all their life,
Yeah.
and at the end they just kill them in the most peaceful way.
What do you think at the end means to them?
Yeah, well, that's also true because it's not that they live their whole life. When they are
They're still
at the
killed.
best point, they kill them, right?
Exactly. At a fraction of their lifespan, right?
Yeah, I think that's what could be stopping me. Like, that's selfish. I'll admit it. It's selfish
Yeah.
for me to eat meat from other animals.
Yeah.
Still, I think I need to make that transition, right? I don't know. I think with technology, all that stuff, we could make things like, for example, meat that tastes like meat. Maybe, yeah, change the culture in order
Exactly.
to like things that don't mistreat animals, right?
But do you think we already have alternatives for all of it?
Yeah, I think most of them. For example, I'll be honest. I tried the meat that
Yeah.
it's not the vegan meat. I really didn't like it, but
Depends
I
on
mean,
which one you try, right? Like just like anything, any recipe, any food on earth, you can try one and not like it, and you might try another and you like it, right?
you're totally right about that. So yeah, I think actually talking to you, yeah, I need to like change that moral thinking.
Yeah.
It's something that all of us should change little by little.
And
So,
just
yeah.
to put things a little bit into perspective, for example, do you know what happens to dairy cows? Which we always assume, like I don't know if you know, but most people assume that dairy cows just live in this symbiotic relationship with humans. We feed them, they feed us. Do you know what actually happens to dairy cows?
Well, we rape them. That's
You
tough.
used a good word, yeah.
Yeah, I'm so sorry for.
Yeah,
I don't know if
no,
I can
that's
say
okay,
that.
that's okay, that's
But
okay.
yeah,
That's
thank
actually
you.
what we're doing, yeah.
Yeah, you rape a cow in order to make him have milk to think
Yeah.
that he's pregnant, right? So
Yeah.
that's also tough to
What do you think
about.
happens to the babies when they're born? So the first thing we do is we forcefully impregnate them, as you said, right? Which is rape, in my opinion, also. So once the babies are born, what do you think happens?
I don't know. I have no clue.
So the first thing that happens is they separate them from their mothers because the milk has to go for human consumption or to be sold, right? So they can't be allowed to drink the milk.
Right.
If they're born male, they don't produce milk. So what do you think happens to them? Yeah, they get killed, exactly. Either 1 month
Yeah.
or 1 year. And if they're born female, same fate as their mother, year over year, forceful impregnation or rape, taking their babies away. And after 6 to 8 years, when they can no longer be impregnated with ease, they get killed and they
Right.
can live up to 24, 25 years.
That's tough.
That's tough,
That's
right?
tough. It's tough.
Yeah, so I became vegan because I was vegetarian before that, and I became vegan because learning about how the dairy industry treats animals, and there was just no way for me to justify. Like, how could I ever say that I'm against rape? How could I ever say that I'm against oppression? How could I ever say that I'm against abuse when I literally go to a supermarket and pay for other individuals to have that happen to them for something that I don't actually need, right?
Right. Right. No. I totally agree with you.
Yeah. So then, comes a really difficult question for you. How many more animals need to be exploited for you before you make a change?
Tough question.
Tough question, yeah.
No more animals should be killed.
Exactly.
I wouldn't like my dog, for example, to be killed because
Yeah.
I love him, not because I love the cow. He should be killed, but yeah, I think as we're talking to you, I'm actually search for more alternatives.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that. And I keep in mind that, well, first of all, do you know what being vegan is?
Yeah.
Can you walk me through your definition? Maybe.
Well, what I know is that you consume everything you consume.
Yeah.
Doesn't have a relationship with animals, like
Yeah.
treating them, taking care from them, anything with animals.
Yeah.
Always
So
from nature, right?
yeah, exactly. So the whole idea of being vegan means literally we respect animals. We don't exploit them. It's a moral position where we reject animal exploitation, much like I don't know, feminism rejects women's exploitation and stuff like that, right? It's a moral position. As a consequence, obviously, we don't eat their products or them or anything that puts them in a position where they're being exploited. And that goes for food, for clothing, for entertainment, right? Because we don't go to zoos, we don't wear leather and stuff like that. Does that sound like something you align with morally?
Yeah, definitely. I'm sorry.
You have to go.
I have to
understand.
go. I'm sorry.
Okay, let me just give you a.
It was amazing talking to you. Like,
Are you a tourist here?
yeah.
Can you hold this for a second?
Yeah,
I'll
of
be-
course.
So here's a map.
All right.
These are vegan restaurants in Amsterdam. Not all of them, but some of them. So you can, while you're here.
All right.
And I recommend you watch. So let me also tell you some resources you have on this other side. Challenge 22. They hook you up with a nutritionist, send you recipes every day. They help you go vegan. It's all free.
Wow.
It's
Perfect.
all for the sake of animals. Sounds like something you might need. And here on veganfuture.org, there's a video there called "The Most Important Speech Ever Here." If you go there, there's I think just one video. Give that a watch. You'll really enjoy it. Okay?
It was a pleasure talking to you.
Same.
And this is great.
Yeah. Nice to meet you, Daniel. And have a nice vegan life. Okay?
Yeah.
No more animals be exploited for you.
Thanks a lot. Thanks
Cheers.
A lot.
Whoa, somebody donated 20 euros. Oh my God. Thank you so much, Marcos. I love what you do. I am vegan forever. Thank you. Yeah, exactly. Well said. That guy's a future vegan activist, says James. I hope so. He really got it, huh? That's the interesting thing. I noticed that the people who read up on it beforehand, they get it much faster. Hey, DJ Cad, nice to see you. Solid. Yeah. Yeah, you see, I'm nice to people who get it. There you go. Did you guys like the whole dogman approach? I couldn't. I woke up at 3 a.m. last night, and I thought, holy shit, I gotta try this approach where I'm like, wait, what if we genetically engineer a species that looks like human but behave differently, you know? And I think it really puts the people into a hypothetical scenario mood. Chip, they still experience the effect of oppression or are negatively affected by it. Yeah. So annoying when a motorcycle passes. They're so loud. Whew. Want to try a social experiment? The good guy says, born to be consumed. Vanilli Villi asks me, how can you have morals when you don't believe in God? What a ridiculous question. I'm sorry, but that's a ridiculous question. So of course you can have morals if you don't believe in God. Morals don't come from God, do they? Do you derive all your morals from your God? I'm assuming you're Christian and therefore a Christian God. Oh my God, Jackie Boyle, thank you so much. He is so a vampire, says Brandano. I mean, I come from Romania. My parents live in Transylvania. Yes. I'm not a vampire. That would be funny. The oppression is a form that violates their interests as sentient beings. Exactly. So, listen, morals, they weren't given us by God, whatever God you think. And I would assume that I would argue that you agree with it too, because you know what? In the Bible, it says that not only does it say that it's okay to enslave people, but it also says how to enslave people, where to take the slaves, and that you can beat them all the way until they're almost dead. But not if they die. If they die, it's wrong. But if you beat your slave, it's okay. As long as they don't die. As long as you don't kill them. It does, Artax, it does. You don't have to trust me. You can look it up. That's the whole thing. I'm not here to say, trust me, trust my source. No, please, look it up. Fact check me. So if you get your morals from that, then, man, I would hate to be, I don't know, next to you if you think it's okay to enslave. So no, I get my morals from, reading moral philosophy and choosing the moral philosophy that aligns most with my values. That's how I get my morals. It doesn't condone slavery. It doesn't condone slavery, you say. It does, it does. I mean, I would tell you exactly moral relativism. No, it's not moral relativism. Moral relativism would imply that there's morality. Well, actually, morality is, I don't say it's relative, but rather subjective and maybe intersubjective. But yeah, I wouldn't call it moral relativism because that would imply somehow that something is moral or immoral based on a situation that you're in. And that's not necessarily true. Well, that's not true at all. It's not like my morality isn't derived based on the society that I'm come from. It's just... What confirms slavery? Asks Lulu. The Bible says it's okay to enslave. And gives further details how to enslave and says that you can beat your slave, but not to kill them. I mean, Artex, it's not a lie. It is true. I would tell you exactly where the passage is, but I have it on my phone, and my phone is busy with something else. But it does say that, and I checked. I also thought, no, that cannot possibly be true, but it does say that. It also says stuff like, if a woman cheats on you, then she will be, she's okay to be raped or stuff like that. It's insane. The things that the Bible says are just ridiculous. But it's okay, I'm not here to judge you or your beliefs on the Bible. I personally think it's ridiculous. I personally think all religion is ridiculous, to be honest.
وزيت وقال لي
And you can easily ask yourself, if you're one religion, why is it that you're not another religion? And then ask yourself that. That's easy, right? Oh, you're a Christian. Why are you not Muslim? There you go. Why do you think being Christian is okay and Muslim not okay? Oh, you're a Muslim. Why are you not Christian? Why do you think being Muslim is okay and not Christian? Oh, you're Jewish. Why are you Jewish? Same. You get the question, right? You get the point. The whole point is you can't prove the existence of one God. Therefore, how can you prove the existence of another or whatever? I'm not here to debate God. I don't care about that. Well, I do care. I'm theoretically an anti-theist, but I'm not here to do that now. Here today I'm here to speak on behalf of animals. So, yeah. Jackie says Old Testament stuff. That's not Christian. I mean, Old Testament is part of Christianity, right? Like every Christian person will say that they also believe in creation and all that stuff, right? Otherwise, you're not Christian if you don't believe that. You can't just pick and choose what you believe in, right? The whole point of it is, I mean, I guess if you pick and choose, you would need to pick and choose your religion also, right? I don't know. It just never supports slavery. Okay, Artax, we got it. You mentioned 1,000 times that that's your opinion. But I would say look it up, because that's not true. Artax, no, you haven't. I can tell you with 100% certainty that there is at least one passage in the Bible to support slavery. And I think it's somewhere in Deuteronomy, or I forgot exactly where it is, but it is there. What does your sign say? My sign says, I'm doing a social experiment, come talk to me. Look, Moonrise Studio says there are multiple passages in the Old Testament that supports slavery. Please. Oh, okay, what is the experiment, asks Brooks. Well, stick around, you'll see it when somebody comes and stops by. Ed G. Thank you so much for the donation, Ed G. I don't get my morals from Bible or religion. I get my morals from people who got their morals from the Bible and write books about morality. That's you. Did you just donate? I get my morals from people who get their morals from the Bible and write books about morality. I don't get my morals from... I don't know why you say that. That's me. Oh, that's me. That's me. That's what you're saying. That I say I don't get my morals from Bible or religion. I get my morals from people who got their morals from the Bible and write books about morality. No, not at all. There are plenty of philosophers out there who have written books about moral philosophy, and they didn't get their morals from the Bible. In fact, they challenged them. And even if they would get their morals from a Bible is just a book. It doesn't mean anything, right? Like you get some morals from there and some other morals from other places. Doesn't really matter. Hey Keisha, nice to see you. Hi. You okay being live from my YouTube channel?
Yeah.
Okay, what's your name?
James.
James. Can you come a little bit closer so that you're in view? Okay, so James, are you against oppression?
Yes.
Okay. Do you think that the powerful should have the right to oppress the powerless?
No.
No. Even if the powerful get some form of benefit from it?
Not in a typical egalitarian model, no.
Say it again?
Not if it was a typical egalitarian model.
Okay.
You would want the equality, wouldn't you?
So is there any situation when the powerful should have the right to oppress the powerless?
No.
What if the powerless don't realize that they're oppressed?
Well, it's difficult, isn't it? Because if you don't realise that you don't know. So if you don't know, then you don't believe.
But the powerful know that they're oppressing them, right?
The powerful know that they're oppressing,
Yeah,
but the
so-
oppressors don't always know that they're being oppressed.
Yeah, does that make oppression okay?
No, of course
No,
not.
okay. So we've established a moral baseline about your oppression, oppressive stance, right? So you say you're completely against oppression, and there's no situation where oppression could be morally justified, right? Okay, now let's imagine that just a hypothetical scenario where we create, there's a company and they splice up DNA from species to species, and they mix a human and a dog, and they create a dog man. The mind of a dog, the body of a human. They live and behave exactly like dogs, but they look like humans, right? Would it be okay to oppress them?
Well, I suppose it depends. You're asking really binary questions. You're saying yes or no, yes
Yeah.
or no. And
I'll get you to the point,
It's
yeah.
leading questions. I mean, you know, no, it's not all right to oppress, I guess, full stop.
Okay.
Right?
Would it be okay to oppress dogs then?
Well, no, because, no oppression is just.
Exactly. Okay, so this is the final question then. Do you think we're oppressing animals when we're forcing them into slaughterhouses for us?
Yes.
Okay.
That's a
Do
good
you consume any animal products? Do you partake in this
Ve-
sending of animals towards the
I
slaughterhouse?
consume minimum animal products.
Okay. So you do participate in some form of oppression, right?
Yeah.
Do you think there's any way for you to maintain your status of being against oppression while simultaneously supporting oppression by paying for animal products and such?
True, but then to get into the vegan debate, I suppose it's not just as simple as binary yes or no. It's cultural shifts, societal norms, and so on. I'm not saying that oppression is okay. Of course, it's not.
So oppression
But
is morally justified as long as it's
Well,
cultural?
well, how do you then sustain society through plant-based?
Just like you would, like what do you mean? Are you asking me how a food system through plant-based would work?
Well, how do you do it?
You just create a food system that's based on plants. You
Have
create
have
plant-based products.
Yeah, but then that's just like saying you just implement communism. It's really simple to do so. It doesn't. In theory, okay, yes, we can all just eat plants.
Yeah.
So if you rewind far enough, yes, there was it was predominantly a plant-based diet, of course, but there was still meat scattered in there. You still hunted.
But do you think that you have a responsibility to solve this issue? Or do you think you have a responsibility to not participate in the oppression when you have the option not to?
Probably both. Right?
Probably both. I don't know.
Probably
I would
both.
say I don't have a responsibility to solve the food system. I would say I have a
So who does?
responsibility.
So who does?
I don't know, people who work in that for the governments or for the United Nations or stuff like that, who have more knowledge about how food systems work better, how I don't know, transport of foods and stuff works, right?
Yeah.
I have no knowledge of
Yeah.
that. All I know is that I'm here fighting for animal rights. That's hence why I try to challenge people's values.
Yeah.
And according to your own values, you're against oppression, but yet at the same time, sometimes you participate in it by
Yeah, but
supporting.
again, I think whenever you base an argument on leading questions, it's very simple. That's how the best lawyers win cases. You base it on very simple leading questions, and you lead your subject.
Well,
to
I led you.
yes or no.
I
and
led you
think,
to the whole point of it,
but
right?
I
How
thi-
can you justify oppression otherwise? You can try to tell me otherwise. How would you otherwise justify
Yeah, but
this
it's
form
classic
of oppression?
reductivism, isn't it? Like, it's a classic reductivist strategy to boil
So tell me,
something down
what
into its most-
complexity is it there?
You've interrupted me again. It's a classic reductivist style to bring something down to its very baseline point of view, and then say yes or no. Of course, you don't agree with oppression, right? And that's the reductivist style. When in the world is
I'd
the world
also
that
ask you,
reductivist?
is there a situation when you think that oppression is morally justified? And you said no.
No, it's not. But is there a situation when the world could be simply boiled down into a binary yes or no? Never.
Okay, but in this situation there is, right? Because when you make
But it's not.
choices,
It's
it
way
is.
more
Well, let me explain
complicated.
it.
It's way more
For you
complicated.
to make choices. So when you make choices, you can choose to buy a plant-based product or not. You
Yeah.
can choose to oppress an individual or not. How is it ever so that complicated? It is very binary to the individual who's being oppressed. You either choose to oppress them or not. Like, why would you think it's different? Yes, of course, there are multitude of choices. It's not just one product that oppresses animal or one product that doesn't. There's a multitude, but you can split them into categories. One oppresses animals and one doesn't. So
Yeah.
it is pretty binary that way. So how can you morally justify oppressing animals?
I think you and I may continue to disagree.
Well, what is it that you disagree on?
Nice to meet you.
But
Nice to
what I don't get it. What is it that you disagree on? I
Your
understand you
reductive
run away
style
now
is-
because it feels like I confronted you with something that you
No,
probably weren't
it's
aware
not,
of
It's
it.
not confronting. See, it feels like you're being quite the aggressor now. You know,
I'm
so-
sorry if I'm
so
just
you're
being
now not
passionate
letting
about
somebody- you're
animals,
now
you know.
not- yeah, no, you can be passionate, but you don't need to have a reductivist style.
So what
You
is
can
it that? Let me
can
ask you
allow
this.
somebody to walk
I'll
away
just ask you
from
this.
street.
What is it that I can say that you stop oppressing animals right now?
Nothing.
So do you will- so you see, it doesn't really matter what I
Okay,
say.
nice to
You
meet
just
you.
want to continue oppressing animals.
There's no problem.
What can I say? What was he saying? I can't understand the word of Scottish. Funny. Yeah, it was not easy to understand everything he was saying. Reductionism is important for establishing a baseline. Add complexities in order of important as the train of thought progresses. Well, he had the liberty to add complexities all throughout all of it. He had the liberty to say this is a binary question. I don't want to answer a binary question, and then we could have gone through it as others have. Yeah. That last line is always the perfect question to go to a situation like that. Exactly. What is it that I can say that you stop oppressing animals? I'll say it, hell. So here you go, people watching. If you are not vegan, you are in the chat right now. Please tell me. Write in the chat. What is it that I can say that you stop oppressing animals? That you stop the participating in exploitation? What is it that I can say? The LTN says you aren't aggressive, Chip. They're gaslighting. I see that. So Broken Britain says, no, I'm not vegan. So what is it that I can tell you that you stop oppressing animals right now? You can say that God loves his creation and commands us to show it respect. So if Artax, if I say that, will you stop oppressing animals? You look like a knight. The way you hold that poster, it's like holding a shield, a microphone, and the hat just like a knight in the armor. Thank you. Artex says, I don't oppress animals, I love animals. Artex, do you consume animal products? Because then you support animal oppression. There you go. Hey, you want to try a social experiment? It's pretty warm today, by the way. Oh, wait. I gotta have a vegan shirt on. Feisty Chip today, says Linda. Yeah, I'm feisty today. Oh, Vanilli Billy got triggered. That's okay, Vanilli Billy. It's okay to be triggered, you know? We all get triggered by things. It's normal. It's human nature to get triggered by things we don't like. Or when we get challenged on our own beliefs. It's okay. It's normal. A lot of traffic here, huh? So many triggered people in the chat. Listen, everybody, I'm sorry if I trigger you. Well, I'm not sorry because it's not my fault that you got triggered, really. You know, I'm just stating facts here. If you buy animal products, you support animal oppression. If you think you're against oppression, how can you really be against it while at the same time supporting it? It's ridiculous for something that you don't need. Like in the case of need, you could maybe form some form of justification, but there is no need for it. Therefore, you can't really justify it. The vegans are triggered, lol. It's funny. Yeah, I also get triggered sometimes. What do you mean? Of course I get triggered. I get triggered by ignorance. I get triggered by stupidity. I do get triggered by that. You want to try a social experiment? Let's see if we get some more people. Go take more drugs, demon. So funny. I look like a demon? Okay. If you're triggered by the truth, you know you've got it all wrong. Exactly, Jackie Boyle. Well said. Looks like Holland. Yeah, this is Netherlands. This is Amsterdam. We're at the corner here. And the nice thing about it is that there's also a toilet close by, so I think if I ever wanted to do more than 3 hours, here would be the place. You do not you do not have the right to judge people. Only God can judge people. Sure. Tell that to legal judges. Hey, you want to try a social experiment? I can judge whoever I want. What do you mean? It's normal to judge. Especially if you're doing something that I consider immoral, right? It's immoral to exploit and slaughter innocent sentient beings, especially if most people say that, no, I'm against animal abuse, I'm against animal exploitation, I don't think it's right to force innocent animals into slaughterhouses, yet you support it, then of course I will I will judge you if you're not living up to your own morals. Betray He says, please go vegan for the animals. I don't know if I pronounced your name correctly, by the way. Betray He. Alonjin. Hey, you want to try it?
I'm a local, but yeah, why not?
Are you okay being live for my YouTube channel?
Okay.
What's your name?
Stephanie.
I'm Chip.
Hi.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Where are you from?
Mexico.
Mexico. Nice. Oh,
Should I
nice.
look to the camera?
Sure, why not? But just come a little bit closer so that I can. So Tiffany, you said?
No, it's Stephanie.
Stephanie.
Yeah.
Okay, Stephanie. Okay, Stephanie. So, what's your take on oppression?
Oppression is when you don't let people express themselves, or yeah, that's what I think is oppression.
Are you for it? Are you against? I mean, I guess there's multiple ways of oppressing, right?
Yeah.
But like, would you consider yourself as against oppression?
Like sorry again?
Against oppression. Are you against oppression? That's what
I
I'm
am.
asking.
I am against oppression for sure, because yeah, everybody have the right to express and be themselves, and yeah, there is why we have to oppress someone, you know,
Okay.
who like who gives the right.
Exactly. Do you think that the powerful should have the right to oppress the powerless?
No.
No. Even if the powerful get some form of benefit from it?
No, I think I believe not. Yeah, everybody have to have the free choice, and in the end, I believe there's a fine line between oppressing with like an objective, but how can I say it? Then they could be really too much. I don't. I think it's still depression is not good, but I think
Oppression, not depression.
Yeah.
Oppression. Yeah.
I still is a little bit. It can really turn really worse. Even they have an objective or whatever.
Okay.
If it makes sense.
Okay, I like that. Okay, even if the powerless don't realize that they're oppressed,
Yeah.
would that still make oppression wrong?
Um,
If the powerless don't realize that they're oppressed. The powerful know that they're oppressing, but the powerless don't know.
I think, yeah, it still would not be okay.
Okay.
I think it's, yeah, shouldn't be.
Okay.
Even they don't know, they're not aware of that, and they're doing something that they think is good. I think, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I would say they can take advantage of all these vulnerable people and the people that they don't know. Don't
Yeah.
you think?
Yeah, exactly. Should we take advantage of vulnerable individuals?
No.
No. What should we do to vulnerable individuals?
Help them. We have to help like society, like
Help
really.
them and protect them, right? And whatever. What is it about vulnerable individuals that warrants protection? Or what is it that you think what is it about vulnerable individuals that means that they should not be exploited or oppressed?
Oh, so can you repeat that again?
Yeah, so what is it that you said, as far as I understand, we should not be oppressing vulnerable individuals.
Yeah.
So what is it about vulnerable individuals that we should not be oppressing? Why?
Why? Because they're not aware. We also, for example, you and me, we're not so vulnerable like them,
Yeah.
and we see things different. And then we don't live the reality that they're facing every day.
Yeah.
So I think, yeah, it's not okay that we just decide to oppress him because they're vulnerable and vulnerable.
Yeah.
So I think shouldn't be like that, and we shouldn't just because we are better. Why it has to be the poor ones? Why?
Not necessarily the poor ones, right? When I mean vulnerable, like, let me put it this way. Do you think we should be oppressing animals, for example?
No, of course
No.
not.
No, because they are vulnerable, right?
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
Yeah.
Do you think that we are oppressing animals?
Yeah,
We are,
of course, 100%.
Yeah.
You can see it in every scenario.
Yeah. Can you think of a situation that you might be supporting animal oppression?
Yes, I'm aware of that. I eat meat every day, eggs. Of course, I say I don't like depression and I'm against that. But how can I say it? It's also a lifestyle that we have, like society, like eating meat, chicken, and all this protein.
Yeah.
And they put that in our brains to buy the certain products and to live and be dependable of these products.
But do you think
Yeah.
that we are dependable, or do you think we have alternatives?
We are dependable, but we have also a lot of alternatives. It's like a mix.
So when you say we're dependable, what exactly do you mean by the fact when we say that we're dependable?
Dependable because it's really easy to just get it from the corner.
Oh, yeah, it's convenient in
It's
that sense.
convenient
Yeah,
and
yeah.
dependable also because it's dependable. I mean, a lot of vegetarian people and a lot of people that they're more into the nutrition, they will say, no, actually, you don't depend of the
Yeah.
like the chicken, like
Exactly.
instead of the meat. You can just get it from lentils and broccoli or many things that they have a lot of protein.
Yeah.
So I think it's like a mix. You depend, but there's a lot of choices. So you don't really depend.
Exactly. The largest nutritionist organizations on the planet,
Yeah.
they all say that we don't need any animal products to survive or to thrive, right? So
Yeah.
we can thrive on plant-based diets, right?
Yeah.
So then what is it that's holding you back from, because you say you're against oppression, but do
Yeah.
you think you can really be against it while simultaneously supporting it by buying animal products?
Yeah, I think I will call myself a little hypocrite.
Yeah.
Hypocrite? How you call it?
Hypocrite, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I am a little hypocrite because I
Yeah.
say I don't like oppression. And like me, there's many people like, yeah, I'm against that. But in then, yeah, I go and back home and I eat like a omelette or like a chicken something. But in my normal day, I don't see it like oppression
Because we don't see it.
because we don't see it, and I'm not in the farms and
Yeah.
seeing how the pigs are being treated and everything. I don't have it in my head, so it's really nice when someone reminds you, like, hey,
Yeah.
this is happening also with the animals or
Yeah.
people. Or,
So,
yeah.
in a sense, it is a form of systemic oppression, right, that we're participating in. And the reality of our choices that we make every day, there's a lot of choices that we make that, without us even wanting to, we participate in oppression, right?
Yeah.
But do you think when we're presented with the choice not to participate in any systemic oppression or to minimize systemic oppression, just put it this way,
Yeah.
do you think that we have the moral obligation to make that choice, the one that minimizes the oppression?
Yeah, we have to. We have to. Otherwise, I would just put an example. What if once in many years we don't have chickens, or we suddenly there's no animals in this planet?
Yeah.
And then what if we start eating and people wants meat or something? I'm gonna be a little
Yeah, yeah,
extreme,
yeah.
really extreme point.
I love it.
And then
I
we
love it.
start eating like people. We became cannibals, and I think it has to be operations right now before it's too late to get to. And I don't know this is never gonna happen that we are really savages, but I think it has to be already happening now. Like, and it has to be not mandatory. Everybody have a free choice. But it would be nice. I think, like me, I can just stop doing small things. You know.
But let me ask you this. Oh, by the way, can you come a little bit closer because I look and you're not in view. Yes, perfect. So let me ask you this, because you said everybody should have the choice. Do you think that everybody should have the choice to oppress the animals? Do you think it should be a choice?
I think it should be a choice.
So then when I ask you if the powerful should have the right to oppress the powerless, you said no. Doesn't this contradict the idea of us having that you think that we should have a choice to oppress animals?
Yeah, it actually
Yeah.
it does. It's contradicting.
So which one do you want to take back? Do you think that the powerful should have the right to oppress the powerless, or that we shouldn't have the right to oppress animals?
It's a little difficult. Yeah, I would say the second one, of course.
Yeah,
But
okay.
it's really difficult.
Yeah, it's difficult, right? So,
Yep.
so in a sense, what I'm trying to get to, do you think that we as individuals, when presented with alternatives, when presented with what we're participating in, because a lot of people don't really know about it, right? Like
Yeah.
the biggest thing that animal agriculture has done is hide it from us.
Yeah.
But when we're presented with this, do you think that we have the moral obligation to stop and choose plant-based options from there on out?
Yeah, I mean, if you have a little sense or empathy with the animals or people, or you have a little feelings,
Yeah.
like a human being, you will have a little. You don't have still like the obligation, but it will be like it's something that
So you still don't see it. You still see it as a right. You
I
still,
see.
still
No,
have
no,
the
no.
right
I
to
don't see it
oppress.
like a right.
Yeah.
I see it like a little bit like both parts. I think there's a fine line, like
Yeah.
I said. So you have to be. You're not obligated, but in then. There's like a basic rules in life or basic rules in the society, and I think you should just do it. Even there is no one like checking you or no one is gonna say something about your lifestyle. I feel you should make those things happen. You know?
Okay, let me get back a little bit because I hear another contradiction there. So
Yeah.
should we be? I'll just put it this way: should we be allowed to kill humans?
No. No.
So we have an obligation not to kill humans.
Yeah, of course.
Okay. Should we have an obligation not to kill dogs?
Yeah, we have a obligation to not kill dogs
So why shouldn't we have an obligation to not kill other animals?
because we have obligation.
Like a moral obligation.
Yeah,
I
we
mean,
have a
right? Not
mor-
like a legal. I understand legally
Yeah,
we cannot.
yeah,
have
yeah.
that
We
right
have a
now.
moral.
Yeah.
But the way we are growing in society, we don't see killing the cow, the chickens.
Yeah, we don't see it.
We don't see it like an obligation. It's normal. It's a normal lifestyle. Everybody
Yeah.
do it.
Just much
Yeah.
like in a time for somebody who was born during slavery times, they saw slavery as normal, right?
Yeah.
Because they just participated.
Yeah, it was-
But that doesn't make it moral necessarily.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, I like that. Okay, so I'm going to ask you one hard question, and
Yeah.
it's probably one of the last questions that I'll ask
Yeah,
you.
because I'm cold.
Yeah. How many more animals should be exploited, abused, or slaughtered for you or on your behalf from now on?
From now on, I believe. If I'm honest, I really want to say an answer that makes me look good in the camera, but also
How many do you want? Let me ask you this.
I really. My first answer is I don't want anymore.
Exactly, yeah.
I don't want really because if I think about it, it's horrible that I'm doing that.
So why not stop then?
But
Or why not go? What do you know what being vegan means? By the
yeah,
way?
yeah.
Can
but
you tell me to just? I just want to be sure that you're.
no,
in
no,
the
no.
right-
I long time ago I used to try. I was a little vegan, but
Yeah.
then I quit or I changed my lifestyle.
So being vegan is not a diet or a lifestyle, right? Being vegan is a moral principle
Yeah.
where we say no to animal oppression. It's where we say no to animal objectification. We don't want animals to be treated like objects
Yeah.
because they're just like us in all the ways that matter. They have emotions. They want to live. They want to have social connections. Everything that we do out of life also,
Yeah.
and what we want out of life, they do also. So for us to use them for whatever we want would be wrong, right?
Yeah, of course.
Do you agree with this definition? Do you agree
Yeah.
with? Do you align with this
Yeah,
values?
yeah, I agree.
Okay, so then it sounds to me like you align with the values of veganism, with the vegan
Yeah.
values, but somehow your actions don't say the same.
Yeah, like I say, I'm not anymore vegan or like that.
But what do you
Uh,
think matters more? Do you think what we say or what we do?
What we do,
Yeah.
and I'm not doing it right now. I'm a little contradicted, but really, but I know the reality, or I know what the person that I am. I'm a person that sadly eats animals and eat meat, eggs, and yeah. Unfortunately, that's how I am right now. But I really,
So listen, we can
Yeah,
like
I hope.
I see that you're almost there, but there is something within you that's still keeping you there. And I don't know, I just you're still like an open-minded person. You got the point. You have the values. You have everything. So if the problem with going vegan for you is more of a commitment issue, I can tell you can take it day by day.
yeah.
And at
exactly.
some point you realize that you don't even miss any animal products whatsoever,
Yeah.
right? Like the reality is, it's once you see what have you ever seen what animals go
Yeah.
through?
Yeah,
Footage
yeah,
like that?
yeah,
So when you see shit like that, you're like, oh,
Yeah.
I don't want to be part of it. It's so difficult to morally justify it, right?
Yeah, I know. It's but if now I'm gonna put a scenario, I'm, for example, someone that wasn't aware of that.
Yeah.
All my life, 15 years old. I was
Yeah.
for almost 15 years old. I was eating meat, etc. Then when I was 15 or something like that, I saw a video. Of course, it made me change
Yeah.
for a little time, but because I'm used to always to have it's an excuse. I'm not excusing. To have that type of diet or whatever.
Yeah.
For me, it was the most easy to go back again to what I'm used to it.
Yeah.
And that's when you asked me, I don't know, before a little bit, you asked me what that I'm a little still there, but not there.
Yeah.
I like to be honest, and I like to keep things like direct. I can go back to be vegetarian, but it will take me time. It's not like tomorrow I'm doing vegetarian again. I think it takes like a little steps, and then
Why?
because
Would you let me ask you this? Would you
Yeah.
approach the same injustice if would you approach the same would you have the same thinking, the same approach to a different injustice? Like say you are supporting women exploitation.
no, it's different. I know, I get your
Yeah.
point. It's totally different.
Yeah.
But because
But
how
you
we,
do see the contradiction, don't you? I'm sorry for interrupting you
yeah.
there, because the contradiction is that you understand it's an injustice, you understand it's important that you stop, you understand that in any other injustice it's important to stop instantly, you also understand that in this one it's
Yeah.
important to stop instantly, but somehow you don't want to stop, right?
No, I mean I want to stop, but I think the way we are in the world, I would like to keep it like it will be a little drastic and suddenly it can happen.
Yeah.
But I think like a normal person that has like this type of diet, it has to take a little time. Otherwise, you go again to where you're used to it. If you really want to make it really, really happen again, like forever for the rest of your life, I think you have to accept like, oh, I'm gonna stop eating eggs, and then the other maybe week, oh, I'm gonna stop eating chicken, and then you're cutting everything like slowly. I know it's bad that I say it slowly, because it will not happen the same with the women.
I don't have to say anything. You keep you
Yeah.
you see that's the thing about you,
Yeah.
because you talk to yourself a lot,
Yeah.
right? You say I know it's bad, but I know this bad, and the reason why I'm trying to encourage you and say that hey, if you take it day by day, it won't be that big of a deal. Like if you say hey, my next meal will be vegan,
Yeah.
then my next meal will be vegan, then my next meal will be vegan, and at some point you realize you don't even miss it. And I'll give you resources to
Yeah.
help you with that,
Yeah.
but. At the end of the day, right, the way I see it, when I choose an animal product, when you will choose an animal product,
Yeah.
one innocent animal will be exploited and slaughtered because of you and for you.
Yeah, true. You're
Right?
Yeah, you're
So, morally speaking, there's animal products when I pass by the supermarket and I see them and I'm like, I remember what they tasted like and I haven't found a replacement yet for them. And I've been
Yeah.
vegan for 3.5 years
Wow,
almost.
that's a lot.
Yeah, so, and I'm like, okay, I haven't found a replacement for them, but you know what? Whenever I see them, I'm like, I don't want to put any animal in that
Yeah,
position. So,
you're really good. You're really good like that. I think everybody we are different. Of course, I would like to be like you,
Yeah.
like cut it like since.
but your values are there.
No, they are, but I
Yeah.
have to, like you say, I have to put action in that. So maybe after this interview, everything, maybe I go back home, and I mean, I still have a few things in my fridge,
Yeah.
a little hypocrite, but then
That's okay.
And then after is maybe it could be done. But yeah,
I just don't want more animals to be exploited.
Yeah, of
you know,
course.
that's the whole point of it.
Yeah,
I
of
don't.
course.
I'm not here to tell you what to eat, what to do, or how
No,
to do
no,
it.
I know.
What I want from you is like to understand that what you're participating in. That's what I want to inform
Knowledge.
you, and at the end of the day, to help you make the choices that are according to your own morals and your own values. And
Yeah.
you seem like you have the right values right there. It's just I know we live in a non-vegan world. It's not
Yeah.
easy sometimes, but
Yeah.
you should understand that even if some things are hard,
yeah.
they're amazing to do either way, even
Yeah.
if they're and it just I don't particularly found it hard. I think it takes like an adjustment period of a month,
Yeah.
but afterwards it's all easy.
I will have to try again.
Okay,
So,
let me give you a card just to
Yeah.
help you out with this.
Bye.
So, what I recommend, so you have if you scan this QR code or go on this website and type in this code.
3 movies that what the.
Yeah, WTF. It's
Well,
intentional.
Okay, I was gonna say the word.
Yeah, you can say what the fuck.
Your perception is the only real difference. Oh, so sad. Now then I think about it again, about everything.
That's the point. Yes.
Yeah, I know.
For you to not forget it. On this website.
Yeah.
On this website, you have Challenge 22. They hook you up with a nutritionist, send you recipes every day.
For
They
free?
help you go vegan for free.
Yeah, okay.
You just have to subscribe. That's all it is. You give them your name and your email. They put you in a group. They put you in a group with other people who are like you.
Yeah.
You make some friends. It's very nice. And if there's something that I can recommend that you watch, is the most important speech you'll ever hear. It's also on this website. That's it.
Maybe I search it. I search this on Instagram.
Oh, and this is my social media.
Real
if you need.
cheap guy, so I'm in there.
Yeah, but
Real
this
cheap.
is but now I'm on YouTube, so that's cheap.
Oh
guy.
damn.
Yeah.
Okay, well maybe I will search later the video. But thank you. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
No, you
And,
too. Nice to meet you. By the
You
way.
said Stephanie, right?
Yeah, Stephanie. You say
Chip.
Chip.
Stephanie, you
Chip.
gotta go vegan. You have a moral responsibility. You're an open-minded person. When I meet open-minded people, I tell them you have moral responsibility.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of people, like most people on this planet, they just go with what they're told. You're not
Yeah.
like that. You seem to think for yourself.
Yeah, there's people that they're just closed mind,
Exactly.
and other people that are more open. People that are in the middle, whatever.
Yeah.
So there's like a lot of mixture. But I gotta go. I'm really cold.
You're open-minded, okay?
Yeah. See you. It
Have a
was
nice vegan
bye,
life.
Bye, bye,
I'll
people.
just do a fist bump again, yeah.
Should I do it? Bye.
Bye. There you go. Great outreach, says DJ Hara. Yeah, that was a pretty good outreach, right? Chip, what is your opinion on animal culling? Isn't necessary to protect ecosystems and human infrastructure? No, I don't think it's necessary. I think we created a system where, in order to do certain things, we displace and kill animals. I think we need to improve on that. And if it is in cases when it's necessary, I mean, you know, I don't like it, but you know, how can I question necessity? But hey everyone, welcome to the stream. I hope you're subscribed. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe, hit that subscribe and hit that like. Let's get those numbers up a little bit. Why not? The weather is quite nice today. It doesn't look nice, but it is quite nice. It's like 8 degrees. It's warm, or at least I'm already used to it. Yeah, it's a bit foggy. It's not windy at all, because I don't know if it's because it's foggy at all, but it's not windy. It's so nice. It's very rarely we get stuff like this in Amsterdam, so I'm happy. Chip, how do you deal with beavers messing up dams by blocking the water to them? I don't think dams are something we should continue doing unless we absolutely need to, by the way. Dams, they always mess with ecosystems. So the dams that we have, we might need to, I don't know, either keep them or make plans. Like, I don't know, like you ask of me you give me some really hard questions this way, because I don't have any ecosystem knowledge or wildlife management knowledge or stuff like that. I can have opinions on it, but I can't give you an informed opinion because I haven't really informed myself on it, right? What I can say is that we can probably improve on them, right? The whole point of it, right? We can improve on everything. Like you say, crop agriculture exploits and kills animals. Well, it doesn't really exploit animals, just kills animals, right? Hi.
Hey.
You want to try the social experiment?
Sure, let's do it.
Are you okay being live from my YouTube channel?
Oh shit, what's up?
You okay?
Yeah, I'm.
You want to come closer so that you're in view?
Closer. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm smoking. I hope that doesn't.
Oh, I don't care.
Yeah.
What's your name?
My name is. Oops.
Oh, shit. Yeah, get it.
So my name is like kind of spelled like Achilles, but without the S.
Oh, Achilles.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Nice to meet you, Achilles.
Nice to meet you.
Achilles without the S. That's
Yeah.
that's a good name.
Yeah.
You're a big guy.
Thank you.
I
Thank
like
you.
it. Okay, so where are you from?
I'm French, but I moved here when I was 2.
Oh, so you live here in the Netherlands?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh.
Well, no. Now last year I moved to the UK.
Ah,
for,
okay.
For studies, yeah.
Okay. So Achilles, if I ask you, would you say you're against oppression?
In the sense of what the term actually means, yes.
Yeah, because
Yes.
the term literally means a cruel or exercise of authority, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Cruel,
yeah.
unjust, or
Yeah.
exercise of authority.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you think that the powerful should have the right to oppress the powerless?
No. No.
Even if
No.
the powerful get some form of benefit from it.
I suppose that would be the reason for oppressing, right? Because
Yeah.
if you're not getting any benefit
Yeah.
from it, then you're just oppressing, which I guess is arguably worse than oppressing for a profit.
Exactly, yeah.
So yeah.
Even if the powerless don't realize that they're oppressed.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure most people who are, well, actually, yeah, it's kind of a tough question to answer, but yeah.
Yeah. So what if the powerless were born or were brought to existence for the sole purpose of being oppressed or being used?
Well, then I mean, you can take two logics. You can say, well, the only reason they're here is to be oppressed. So But then again, do we decide to create life for us to kind of harvest it and oppress it in that way? I don't
Would
think,
it would oppression still be wrong in that
yeah,
situation?
yeah, of course,
Okay.
of course, yeah.
Okay, I like that. So we've established a moral baseline. I appreciate that. Do you think now the question why I ask this? Do you think that we're oppressing animals when we're forcing them into slaughterhouses for us?
To some way, yeah. To some way, yeah. But I mean,
Because it is cruel,
I think,
unjust,
yeah,
and an exercise
yeah.
of authority, right?
Yeah, yeah, it is, it is. But then again, you have to be measuring, you have to. Now it brings the question that like, okay, what is a human life worth, and then what is an animal life worth, right? And then is the life of a butterfly, for example, is that worth more than a human's life?
But why?
Right.
What is it?
Then-
Why do we have to quantify them, right? Like, because it's not like which life is worth more. You can place value on whatever life you want.
Yeah.
The question is, why would we ever oppress them, right? Like, why would we ever bring them to existence only to exploit them and kill them in the end?
Well, I suppose because we as humans see that we're we need these to survive. We like eating meats,
But in a situation which is the situation that we're in right now,
Mhm.
where we don't need any animal products to survive and to thrive,
Yeah.
right? Maybe in the past we needed it. I don't know. I'm far be it from me to say.
I think ideally we'd
but
all
today
hunt
we
our
don't.
own. We'd all hunt our own. Purely what you need. You know what I mean? It wouldn't be so consumerist, and that's just kind of the issue with life today is that it's turned into this kind of like this big, like the meat industry, especially the fish industry, even worse. It's like
Yeah.
they're full of heavy metals nowadays. So to some extent, yeah, I think I agree. We don't necessarily need all this, but we could.
But we
could, I
don't
mean.
need any form of animal product
Oh, yeah,
for
no?
our health. No. So the largest the largest organization of nutritionists on the planet, including I think in UK also, I forgot their name, but the health organization from UK, they say that a plant-based diet is suitable for all ages and stages of life.
Mhm.
So and there's plenty of studies. I think there's hundreds of studies really nowadays,
Yeah.
going for tens of years now that we don't need any animal products to survive. So do you think in a context, in this situation where we don't need animal products to survive and thrive, do you think any form of exploitation or killing of animals can be morally justified?
Yes, but then there's also I feel like playing devil's advocate with my own logic. It's kind of hard to justify in a way. But I think if I do justify it, it's for cultural reasons.
But do you think
And-
that culture dictates morality? Because there's cultures on this planet where female genital
of course.
mutilation
Yeah,
is
yeah.
right.
Well, yeah. That's true. Well, that's but then with its own extremes, I guess to some extent, no, I can't justify the
No.
oppression of animals for if obviously we don't need them.
Yeah.
But like for example, I can say, if like what would you say to, for example, let's say we dismantle the meat industry entirely, the fish industry, we only survive
That'd
off
be
plant-based
awesome.
products. You're allowed to eat meat, but the rule is that you have to hunt it yourself. Would you be obviously
I would still be against it if you ask me. I would
Yeah,
say,
yeah.
because even when hunting, we're still oppressing them, right? We're still using a weapon, which, like, if I were to hunt with a weapon, if I were to hunt you with a weapon,
Yeah.
I would still have an unfair advantage, right? So from the
Yeah.
start, you would be still hunting with a weapon. Then, let's say you don't have a weapon, you're just trying to hunt the animal on your own with your bare hands or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess to some extent then it's fair game, but then you would still be making a choice, whereas you have readily available plant-based options. So why would you ever make a choice or try to
Yeah.
kill an innocent
Well, then I
animal?
guess if given you're presenting the logic very clearly,
Yeah.
like we don't. You're saying basically we don't need meat to survive.
Exactly.
Then I can ask you like why given that you're telling me this now, why can't everyone see like this? You know what I mean?
That's
I'm
beautiful.
still gonna go home and buy a steak. You know what I mean? No offense.
Yeah.
Although I am taking a lot from this conversation.
Yeah.
It's like still kind of so rooted that I just love a good piece of beef or like a
Yeah,
good
well,
piece of
that's
pork
why.
or some ribs.
That's why. Because animal agriculture. The reality is, like, let's think, and I'll just give it to you in a nutshell. If you think about 100 years ago, animal agriculture wasn't as big as it is today. Animal agriculture, like, people would eat meat every once a week, every once a month, something like that.
I think
right?
that's what's recommended for
Yeah,
red meat. It's
yeah.
200 grams a week or something.
Yeah, something like very little, right? So what is happening today is that animal agriculture has done marketing campaigns, has done smear campaigns on plant-based products like soy. They say,
Yeah.
oh, it has estrogen. It doesn't. It has phytoestrogen, whatever. It has paid a lot of money to make people think that we need animal products because they have a financial incentive in the game. They gain from it, right? So they gain from you paying for animal products. They gain from you going against your own values.
You think that ideally we'd all be kind of like, sure, we'd all be sensitized to the point where like, okay, we know that we shouldn't oppress these animals and
Yeah.
all that stuff, but why don't like,
Because there's such a thing as cognitive dissonance, right?
Yeah.
Like when people are presented with something that they've been doing for their whole life as being wrong or being against their own values, people will lash out and they'll say that's not something that I want. And it's not necessarily that people do it intentionally. That's why it's called dissonance or cognitive dissonance.
Do you not think that also a lot of vegan and like vegetarian products like soy and stuff? Soy in itself, of course, I don't listen to all the like the smear campaigns and stuff. I know what it is. I know that it's healthy, you know.
Yeah.
But what do you think, for example, like do you not think that the production of these materials kind of to some extent, given how industrialized everything is, it's going to be kind of the same as the meat industry in the end, because it's, although we're not slaughtering animals directly and that side of like the oppression is fixed.
Do you mean like an environmental footprint kind of stuff?
As well, but also like in terms of, okay, we're going to have to source all of these, you know, vegetables and greens somewhere, and somehow that's going to destroy some ecosystem to some animals.
Of course. Like at the end of the day, you know, you being alive will inherently create some form of I don't know, harm in this on this planet, right? Like you will inherently, some plants will die, maybe some animals will die because you buy a house where there were animals. Maybe you accidentally run over an ant, whatever. Something you accidentally do them, right? I would argue that just because all of this is happening does not mean that we can justify doing extra on top of it. Like, does not mean that we can create extra harm. It doesn't mean that I'll go around, as you said, buy a steak where an animal will be. Does that mean that means that another animal will be exploited and killed for me, right? That doesn't mean that it gets morally justified for me to do so. So, and if you think that when we account plant agriculture that it somehow gets to the same place, it doesn't, because I mean, I think it's the second law of thermodynamics, right, where energy is conserved. Well, I don't know, think about the trophic chain, right? The trophic chain, the whole purpose of the trophic chain is to, some people call it the food chain, is not a measurement of power. It measures how energy flows in an ecosystem, and what it shows is that the plants get their energy from the sun, then certain animals get their energy from the plants, and then the carnivores get their energy by eating the animals. And what it shows is that there's way less energy all the way to the top, right? Mm-hmm. All the way to the top, the individual at the top wastes so much energy is wasted until it gets to them, right? So when we would be eating plants or plant-based products, we would actually be saving a lot of energy. We would be way more efficient with our food systems. I mean, I think it takes, up to 8 times more land for one animal-based protein rather than one plant-based protein.
Oh, really?
Yeah, something like that. It's an insane amount. Of course, it depends on a lot of factors.
But I mean, then again, I think me personally, what's stopping me from not just going all meat diet, I think is just the fact that, first of all, I like meat, and it's something you have to change, which for me right now at this stage of my life, I'm not willing to change. But I know that, in the back of my head, I have a feeling that later in life we're just all going to be kind of not eating the same at all as we do now, and I think we are going to be more on a more vegetarian / maybe even Mediterranean diet. And I know that it's going to change at some point, but I don't know why. I'm too comfortable in my.
But do you think that pleasure is a good enough moral justifier for why these animals, for oppression?
No. But what I was going to say about that is that I don't feel like I wish I could feel like bad for eating meat, but I don't. Yeah. You know what I mean?
I understand you're a bit apathetic towards it.
And I've seen I'm French by nature, so we do, when it comes to animals, we do the worst, right? So
I've seen
so you know, with the foie gras, I've seen all the videos. I still eat it every year. You know what I mean? And the videos are disgusting. I know I shouldn't, but it's just like it's such a big thing in France that it's like, for example, they had to put a halal option on the national school lunches, and it caused it just caused so much trouble, because it was just a slight cultural change, which I think, especially to do with food and wine in France, is so difficult. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean, but
But I know that either way, eating meats, it's been proven that meat, animal grease, it fucks your arteries, it does all this stuff. And it's like plant seed oils, for example. There were a lot of smear campaigns about seed oils because they said it was bad for you, but it's not. That's just, there's no scientific backing on that as well.
I mean, so, I hate it when I meet intelligent people who don't want to make a change, you know, because
but at least I know why I'm not making a change. It's because it's not, you know, I wish I could feel bad from eating meat, but I don't.
But you don't need to feel bad. You just need to ask yourself, do you stand for oppression or not? Because if you stand against oppression, you can't possibly stand against oppression and make choices that support oppression, especially when given the opportunity to not make these choices.
But I guess that then it's the difference between animal oppression and human oppression, which is because I stand I'll boycott McDonald's because they're where they lie
But
on the on
there's
on
human
certain issues,
oppression
what I mean?
also in animal
Exactly, yeah, yeah,
agriculture,
yeah.
right?
For
Like
sure, yeah, that's true.
and like the workers who have to kill the animals suffer
What about
from
biological
PTSD.
meat? Where do you stand on that? Like meat that's like
It's-
ethically made, ethically
that
sourced.
all of
that's
these
not-
are just labels for the consumers.
Yeah.
They're just labels for the consumer to feel good about it. The reality is the difference for the animals is so small, and you will know that animal agriculture pays lobbies for the governments to reduce even the marginal things that they have put in place for the animals, for the biological industry, for the free range industry. Even all those, animal agriculture still pays money to try and reduce though, to get less, because for them it's about making money, and they treat animals like objects. So like literally they use them, and when they can no longer use them, they
Yeah.
kill them.
Yeah.
But you got to ask yourself, is that what you stand up for? Are those your values, that animals should be objects? Because when you buy animal products, when you consume animal products, that's what you're supporting, and that's what you're saying with your money. You might say differently with your mouth, but it would just be lip service if your actions say otherwise, right?
Yeah.
Like if I say I'm a feminist, but then I go around beating women, I can't really be a feminist.
Yeah, no,
You
that's
see
true.
what I mean?
That's true. But that's why I'll never, I do see a lot of, I talk to a lot of like vegetarians and people who do it, and a lot of them it's also I realize they haven't grown up, they've never ate meat. It was never like a moral thing for them. They just never ate it.
Yeah.
And maybe their parents were vegetarian or whatever. They just grew up like that.
Yeah.
And they say that now, like they don't even feel bad for the animals, but they just don't like it. So with that, using that logic, like I could very well just easily stop, I guess, because it's all the.
It takes
it's
a
slight-
month.
yeah.
It takes a month of adjustment, and afterwards you're like,
But I know that one day I am going to. I was talking to this about
Yeah.
with my brother and stuff, who's very
Yeah.
like health oriented.
I mean, for
And
health also, but like what
It's
I mean.
cheaper as well. It's a lot
it's
cheaper
also
to
cheaper, yeah.
not eat meat, but also.
I hate you that you're not. How do you? Let me tell you. Do you
It
know
is-
what?
it is
Do you
though,
know
I-
how I became vegan? Let me tell you. I'm vegan. Do you know why I'm vegan? There's no way of you knowing because you don't know me. But do you know anything about the dairy industry, for example?
I know that. Well, recently I started drinking raw milk instead of.
Oh, don't do that.
No, don't do that. I go
Especially
to the gym a lot. 'cause I
I'm
thought
sorry.
it was-
Let
I
me
thought it was
just.
real good.
First of all, raw milk has no extra benefit than milk. So
Really?
this is.
Okay.
I'm
Yeah.
studying to be a certified nutritionist, and this isn't me as an animal rights activist. It's me as a nutritionist telling
Yeah,
you that there's
purely-
no
purely
difference.
scientific based,
But you
yeah.
get way more risk of raw milk, especially now that there's.
we knew this because of pasteurization, but I thought I tried it once. It wasn't much better, so I don't know.
Especially now that there's H5N1 in absolutely all the cows in the US, and it's spreading also around Europe.
Oh shit.
So we don't want another pandemic, although we're kind of almost there for
Yeah.
it, right? So, especially for that, please don't drink raw
Mhm.
milk, okay? Like this is just whatever you do, don't drink raw milk
Yeah,
or
but
eat
this
raw
is-
meat.
I was thinking about it. Like this is
Yeah.
the worst country to be vegetarian in because the fucking fruits and vegetables are disgusting.
We're
Not
here
good.
in the Netherlands.
Yeah, I found.
What do you mean? There's amazing.
The tomatoes, really, it's all like they're all
Tasty
the same.
tomatoes.
Tasty tomatoes, is that what they're called?
They're
Is there-
good.
is there-
They're
yeah,
good,
yeah,
yeah.
okay. Then I guess because like all the tomatoes to the average person, I think that's also a big barrier. Is that
Yeah.
if you go to Dirk, for example, first
Yeah.
cheapest price, lowest
Yeah,
quality.
Dirk is really-
They're known
yeah.
as well for I think malnourished. I saw a statistic on Instagram. Biggest supermarket chains in the Netherlands that augment, I guess, the maltreating of pigs. That was a big
Jesus.
thing. Or yeah, because pigs is a whole other thing.
Yeah.
But they were like number 2 on that list, so they were really not ethical in that sense. And you go to supermarkets like that where people don't choose to go there; they just have to because it's cheaper.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you go there, and it's like all the fruits, all the vegetables, in my opinion, are
Yeah, they're not great.
yeah, especially the tomatoes, because the Netherlands produces the most tomatoes in the whole. I think it's in the whole world.
Yeah.
And yeah, with that, you like keeping all that in mind. I wanted to ask you, like, what do you think is, because like there's a big polemic and kind of issue on pesticides and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Especially with vegetables, because I was told by, I think it's a med student here, if I'm not mistaken, that if you really want to be purely safe eating like non-bio, worse quality vegetables, you have to take 1.5 centimeters off. Apparently,
I
yeah,
mean-
but like it's not obviously that all comes.
That
with,
sounds
like,
a little bit of fear mongering. I think that
It
if
is
you
for
if,
sure.
if you wash your vegetables well enough, if you wash your fruit well enough, like.
But if you get
just
the
give
worst
them-
quality fruit that are just mass produced, I feel like it's.
I don't
it's-
think
it
that's
can-
an issue.
Yeah.
I don't. I just buy fruit and vegetables based on price and
Where would
and-
you buy
and
them?
convenience. I buy them from Alberheim because it's
Yep.
closer to my house, but I also have a Dirk and sometimes I buy from Dirk. But it's
Eco Plaza is really good.
Eco Plaza has
is
really
so
good also. Yeah,
yeah.
but it's not based on necessarily choices necessarily because it's better for my health or something. It's just I I buy some fruit from there, some vegetables from there. It's just based on what I like more than anything. And if you wash them, you have no issues. But I want to bring it back to animal rights because that's why I'm here to speaking. And I want to ask you because what is it that's holding you back right now from living a vegan life and never exploiting an animal? I understand you like it, but would you say that your liking of these animal products morally justifies what happens to them? Or do you think that your liking is worth, for your 10-15 minutes of pleasure of that meal, is worth more than a whole life for an animal?
I think that yeah, to some extent. Well, I guess if you look at the oppression in itself, it's not justifiable just for 15 minutes of pleasure. It
Exactly.
isn't. But I think a person's perception of that oppression on your morality is like what I think is important, because I don't feel. No, I don't. Yeah, I can say it's, I can in no way justify it, but in that sense, I also can't, like, I don't feel a need
To justify
exactly.
it.
Yeah.
I understand.
Whereas I should, you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
it's also.
It
I
sounds
think
like you're just a bit disconnected.
it's so much
from it.
like meat, and like it's forms such a big part of my world, because also I cook a lot in restaurants and all that stuff. So it's like I could then choose to morally take a stand against meat because it's the
I
right
mean, I
thing
guess
to
all
do.
animal products.
Yeah,
because
all
there's
animal.
oppression,
Yeah. But then I would still kind of need to work with it, and then I would still be supplying it to customers at a bigger scale. It's not even like I'm consuming it myself. I would be supplying it to other consumers.
Yeah, because you
preparing
work
it,
in that
cooking.
industry. I mean,
Exactly.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
understand.
yeah.
I understand. So I
So in
understand
that sense,
there's-
it's difficult. But I do know that talking to my brother and talking to my dad, like, I've done whole weeks where I just go vegetarian, and obviously I still eat eggs and cheese and stuff.
Yeah.
which-
But do you know,
you know-
why it's like? Do you know? Because I told you why.
What
I
about
became
eggs and-
vegan.
eggs and-
Yeah,
eggs
that's
and
what I was
cheese?
gonna say. Do
Yeah.
you know what has to what dairy cows go through? Do you know what has to happen for what has to happen for cows to produce milk?
Oh yeah, for them to actually release it, I think it's like a whole strenuous process when they have to, like, kind of agitate the milk and then cause some
Oh no,
sort
but
of
before that,
discomfort.
like biologically speaking, they're mammals, so it has to happen.
So well, they have to eat. I assume they have to eat.
They have to eat, yeah,
sleep,
but they have
yeah.
to have babies, right? Like
Right.
mammals
Okay,
produce
yeah.
milk only when they have
okay,
babies.
yeah. So they're basically like, okay.
So what happens is farmers forcefully impregnate them. The procedure goes like literally somebody puts their hands in their anus, hold their cervix, and inject bull semen in their vagina.
Yeah.
This is pretty standard
Yeah.
practice, or they use a dildo with the bull semen
Yeah,
on
yeah,
it.
yeah.
And
I've
after
seen those in science.
yeah, after
They
9
also genetically modified cows to be specifically.
yeah, they
although
selectively breed them. They
Yeah,
selectively breed them.
all the cows aren't like natural occurring cows. which
No,
also
no, no,
shocked
none
me
of the
that, like,
cows.
we
are
don't.
not. None of
ones
the
we use
animals
for
we
meat,
farm
yeah,
are not.
yeah.
So once the babies are born, what do you think happens to them?
Well, I assume they don't get the milk because we need
Yeah,
that.
yeah. So they get separated from their mothers. Exactly.
And then they get sold to calf meat.
Calf gets killed, yeah, the male get killed, and the females, they same fate as their mother, year over year forceful impregnation, having their babies taken from them. And after like 6 years, when they can no longer be impregnated with ease, because they only impregnate them when they're in heat, and that happens once a year. And if they can't impregnate them in that year, then they kill them because it would cost them money to keep them alive for another year.
And do you think there's no way to ethically drink milk or eat cheese or eat
I don't
eggs?
think there's any way to ethically forcefully impregnate a cow.
No,
to
no, but
ethically
let's
take
say
their babies.
let's say we scrap that and we find new kind of, because I know my grandmother in France, she doesn't buy any products like obviously not like meat or cheese or eggs. She
Yeah.
doesn't buy that from the supermarket. There's like small associations in like kind of
They
remote
still
towns
do
in
the
France,
same. They
where it's just a farmer's kind of.
I come from Romania, and I saw my grandma do the same thing. So what my grandma did, she didn't kill the baby herself, but she sold it to somebody, which then they killed them, right?
Yeah,
so in
yeah.
a sense, we still have the same responsibility. But I did see her separate them, like
Yeah, but this wasn't, the animals didn't come alive. It was just you get vegetables produced, no pesticides, fully just on the farm, which you can go to and help them with. you know, it was like-
subsistence agriculture. That's what my
Exactly.
grandma did.
Yeah.
So
But your grandma got a live animal.
yeah, they have like
Really?
cows, pigs, chickens, all of it. Yeah,
Okay.
like that's how it is in Romania.
Then how do you feel
Still
about
is.
that? Do you still feel it's?
I don't like it.
Right,
No,
yeah.
because I mean, knowing what happens behind it and reminding, for example, for pigs, pigs don't get to see the light of day, even in backyards, like where it was on my grandma. I remember when the pig had a baby, they had to cut their balls off. And I remember seeing them running around, and then
I went to in France. We go to bullfights, which would be the last thing you would want
That's
to do, and it's
awful.
terrible. And
Yeah.
it's there. I did get a little bit of a shock because
Yeah.
it's like It's like,
That's-
okay, even if the guy doesn't do a good performance and he doesn't win against the bull, it still has to die.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then
and they
I-
still get the
Because
bulls are not violent. They
Originally,
just
yeah. Originally, it was meant to like showcase a fair fight between an animal and a bull.
Yeah.
And it's just like it's really not. It's not that anymore. And it's like stuff like that. I guess is not even.
But are you against
needless.
using animals for entertainment like this? Like
Yeah,
we
yeah,
find?
for sure.
So-
But I mean, I was a kid just going there.
I
and it's
understand
like,
that,
It's
I
not,
understand that.
But it's not. Yeah, It's like needless. It's needless essentially. Yeah.
The
it's
past
needless.
is the past. I'm not here to judge. What I
Yeah.
want to ask you is like, if you're against using animals for entertainment, why are you not against using animals for nutrition when we have? Because for both we have alternatives. Does the reason really matter that much?
I think the distinction that needs to be made is that like I don't essentially need to be entertained to survive, you know. But then again, I don't need to eat meat to survive as well.
Exactly. Yeah.
Which is what we just discussed. But to some extent, I'm still stuck in that like kind of I can.
It's
to be
because
honest,
you want it, right?
Yeah, it's because I want it. And
Yeah.
it's also because like I'm thinking right now of all my favorite foods.
Yeah.
All my favorite foods are all somehow containing a meat
You
product.
can still
or-
adapt those, right?
Yeah,
you said
yeah.
you cook.
But for
That,
example,
that
yeah,
seems
yeah,
like a
but
challenge to you. more
in
than
my
anything.
restaurant, we deal with a
Yeah.
lot of vegans and vegetarians, so
Yeah.
I try. Obviously, I have to try everything.
Yeah.
And I think with a bit of innovation, it can really get close.
I mean, have you
'Cause
tried soy chunks?
I tried a chicken, a fried chicken style, and it was fully soy, but it had
Like-
little strings of chicken. It was like
Yeah, it's
But
almost
then
no difference, right?
at that point, I feel like I just might as well just try something completely new, just a new form of natural soy, because then I'm just stop eating chicken to
Too
then
bad.
eat fake chicken. You know what I mean?
Soy curls.
So yeah, soy
Try
curls,
those.
Yeah,
They're dried. You
But
put them
my
in whatever you want, and
tapioca as well. Is, like they make
Tapioca is nice. Yeah.
I like as just like an emulsifier,
There's
but also
so
I-
many alternatives.
One thing that put me off kind of towards these alternatives was jackfruit. 'Cause
Jackfruit, you didn't like it?
It looks just like pulled pork.
Yeah.
If you do
I
a-
know. I like
you know?
it. I
so
like
we made those sandwiches, and I made one for myself when we first. It has a weird smell first
Yeah.
of all. And I don't mind it. I get the appeal, but it's really sour. It's kind of like more like a fruit in the end,
Yeah,
you know,
fair
which I
enough,
didn't
fair
expect.
enough.
But I also heard that what's that? It's literally just wheat that's been like cooked over. I think.
Yeah.
I
So
can't remember-
nowadays they
can't remember
do.
what it's called. But,
they can use wheat to 3D print meat in a sense that to create like layers.
I was going to
and
talk to
create
you
it-
about
yeah.
that. Like, so what if they
Yeah.
fully synthesize this like beef meat,
I don't listen. I
and then
don't.
they sold that?
I don't care where you get your food from, as long as you don't exploit an innocent sentient being. Like I'm
Right,
here
okay.
fighting for animal rights.
yeah, that's it,
right.
that's it,
That's all
yeah.
it is. And like, I would argue even I don't even care about the environment when I speak about animal rights, because the reality is it is better for the environment to be vegan.
Yeah,
but but even
those
if it-
shouldn't necessarily be intertwined as well when you're talking when
But-
you're trying to have an objective debate
yeah,
as well.
because even if it weren't good, I would still advocate for it, right? Like it would be good for the environment to kill half of the population, yet I wouldn't advocate for that.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So like when we talk about the rights of individuals like animals, like I just see them as, you know, have you had an interaction with a dog, with a cat?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I,
so-
I have. Some of them are. Yeah, they're very like some animals. I feel like well, they say pigs as well have
Yeah.
the intelligence of a 9-year-old.
Yeah,
boy.
they're very intelligent.
And I have a nephew with who's like 40, or not nephew, an uncle who's like 40
I think it's
something.
4 years old, not 9 years old. But yeah.
Oh really? Yeah, but like he's mentally retarded and
Yeah.
mentally challenged, and so he has the mental age of a 3-year-old.
Yeah.
So at that point, am I like, okay, so I'm willing to kill this pig? Am I willing to kill him? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So it's I understand that logic, but also I feel like
Dude, it's such a pity that
It's-
you're
yeah.
not. You know, like I feel like you get everything. You're
yeah, but
intelligent enough.
it's just there's like there's so much I would have to stop, because
Yeah.
in France we eat like of a pig you eat everything.
But listen,
Everything except for the teeth.
I get
So
it.
it's-
You're a victim of circumstance, right?
Yeah,
you were
yeah.
born in this world as not vegan.
Yeah.
But we can't go around victimizing ourselves
No, for
and
sure.
creating other victims in the process, right?
For
Like
sure.
we can't say, hey, I was born this way or whatever
Yeah.
thing we
But I wanted to ask you, I'm not taking this logic,
Yeah.
but what do you say to people who are like, like for example, you don't see cows like building infrastructure
Yeah.
and going into university and getting jobs. So the people who use that the card that like animals aren't as conscious as us.
Well,
If we
I
even have a
usually
measure for
bring
that.
up people who are intellectually challenged and go like,
Yeah.
well, how do we like, and then people say, well, they're human, right? And when people bring that up, they just make a distinction of, well, they're individuals that are part of my group. Therefore, if they're
Yeah.
part of my group, they deserve moral consideration. But you you can't create your morality or do something as horrible as exploitation, killing, all this. You can't justify it simply by belonging to a group or not, right? You
Yeah.
have to have some form of strong moral justification, right? Like if you are on a deserted island and there's nothing to eat and you want to kill an animal, far be it from me to judge you to do that, right?
Yeah.
Like
But
I,
either way,
I
that's
would
not-
argue even in that
Yeah.
case I would want companionship more than food, right? Like you can survive a lot of time without food, but companionship, I don't know. Like only if it's absolutely needed. So my whole point is that I don't know, like there is no real difference between us and animals. We are animals after all. We most people behave like animals. Most people literally just follow the crowd, just follow this. So for us to exploit animals, like I know we've been grown up to think that it's okay, but the reality is, I mean, according to my own values personally, I don't think it's okay. So, and based on what I tested on your values, you also don't seem to think it's okay. It's
No,
just that
no.
you have this disconnect with it, right?
Yeah. Well, I feel like if I was confronted with it every day, for example, I'm sure if you work in like in a slaughterhouse, I want to see what percentage of those people that
Have you
stop eating meat.
have you seen footage like
Yeah,
that?
yeah.
You want to
Well,
see?
yeah.
Because I have some footage.
Sure,
on me
sure,
like
but
that.
like
Yeah.
you'll see it's kind of sad. It'll be saddening to you because I've seen the most gruesome like stuff on but this is probably you're probably about to shock me.
Well, I don't know if I'm going to shock you, but like I'm just going to show you, for example, what happens to dairy. I'll just turn it like this, so maybe.
Dairy's good to see because I've never seen that.
Yeah. So.
Am I still not
Yeah.
fucking up your shot?
So what happens to dairy, right? What you're going to see right here is the forceful impregnation.
Yeah,
of
the
course.
insemination.
Yeah, the forceful insemination.
Is that the semen already?
No, that's he's just using some lubricant to put his hand in her anus,
How come they go through the anus?
because they need to hold her cervix.
They need to hold her cervix and then they go through the vagina.
Yeah,
Okay.
because otherwise the semen doesn't reach the cervix.
And where is this?
Oh, this was filmed in UK, I think, either UK or Australia or both. I don't know. It's footage from UK and Australia, I know.
Yeah.
Afterwards, as you see, they separate the newborns. And of course, you know, like a lot of people say that, well, they're animals, they don't really care, but they.
No, I mean we don't know that, to be honest.
Exactly, we don't
Whether
know
it
that.
be true, we don't know that.
And a lot of the times you do see
Well,
the
yeah,
cows.
you do. And I've actually there's a field of cows close to my university in the UK, and
Yeah.
I love those animals. They're so adorable.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
that's why it's like, and I don't I don't, but yeah, it's I don't. I'm thinking now. The contrast with me, like, oh yeah, saying hi to a cow and then going to eat
Yeah,
minced
but-
meat, you know.
They get separated. You know, in Netherlands, there was the male calves were left to starve to death in like 60 to 70% of the cases.
That's ridiculous.
Because they just couldn't sell them or they couldn't
yeah.
pay for them to be killed. And yeah, this is what happens to the babies, to the males. They kill them. They use a bolt gun where
Yeah,
they
a
they
nail
try
gun,
to. Yeah, and you would think that the bolt gun is for the animals but it's not. It's for the workers to be able to handle them easily. You know.
Oh really?
Yeah. And here they
But
use.
I didn't assume that would be oh that one doesn't look
This is
Christ.
this is an electrical stunning, right? They try to stun them electrically.
But that's just burning that's just
Yeah.
burning them alive, yeah.
Yeah, and you can see it doesn't work perfectly, of course.
No.
They like I talked to a slaughterhouse worker. They do like thousands of animals.
So
per day.
have you looked at statistics to see like, okay, these people that have to do these jobs, what percentage of them are like
Yeah.
turned to not eating meat at all, and like
Well, depends, right? Some of them.
is there at least a percentage?
There is, yeah. So some of them either go full-on cognitive dissonance, where blood doesn't even mean anything to them. They can see people get killed, whatever, or some get PTSD, severe PTSD, and some are put off entirely. Yeah, that
Yeah.
they never
Yeah.
ever participate in it again. There's plenty of cases online. Yeah. Yeah, and these are the females who are separated, right? They're kept separate, and then when they grow up, they usually get. Of course, nobody's gonna milk them by hand.
But I've also seen videos of just milking online, not even in this context, and
Yeah.
they've always been the udders have always been really like veiny and very like it doesn't look healthy, you know what I mean?
No, because
And they also pump. I heard they pump them up with hormones and stuff, and
yeah, because you know they selectively
because it's not
bred.
natural. It's not natural birth cycles, right? And it's
Yeah,
not. So
exactly.
You're just basically I'm thinking on it now.
I mean, it's just as like to farmers, they are just objects. They need to get the milk from them. They will do whatever it takes. They
Yeah.
don't really care
So
about
what do you
them.
think we do now?
What do you mean? What do we do now?
Like we know the issue, obviously. We know
Yeah.
we know the problem. What do we?
Personally, I'm an activist because I want more people. Like the reality is, less than 1% of people are vegan, or actually less than 3% of people are vegan. It's more like 1% to 2% of the world population, between 1 and 2% are vegan. So most people still participate in this, right? So when 98% of people on this planet still support this, there's nothing you can do systemically, right?
Yeah.
You need more public on your
But
side.
let's say fuck the public. Like you just have a choice of what we're the government, and this is what we do now to fix it.
Well, there are things still happening, right? Like
Yeah.
in United States, there's directives. There was on the poll that they ban slaughterhouses in a couple of cities. It was on the poll. It didn't pass, but it still got a lot of votes from some people. So there are things still moving systemically, right? But I think being that it's such a massive issue, as 98% of people are participating in it, we kill 90 billion animals per year, land animals, in the
Yeah.
trillions if we count fish.
But then, do you really think there'll be a time where we don't need these animal
We'll
products at all?
have to, unfortunately. The reality is it's not sustainable for the environment or for our society. So we will absolutely have to do something else. I don't think we will reach a place where people will be vegan in a sense that they will respect animals. But we haven't reached a place where people respect women also, right? There's still people who are misogynistic.
Women don't have the right to
exactly.
education in a lot
But
of
we
countries,
just,
no.
I hope to reach a certain place that at a certain point there's enough people who are on the side of animals or who no longer want to participate in it, that we can create laws and rules for the people who will then be obliged to.
Yeah.
You see what I mean?
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
true. But then, I don't know. I feel like it's gonna be so long.
It's
gonna
uphill.
be-
It's an uphill battle.
That's true.
It's
Yeah.
long.
There's nowhere. But I mean,
But I still, I would. So I had I wouldn't call it midlife crisis, but I went through life and I didn't enjoy my job. I was getting paid very well, but I wasn't enjoying my job. And I realized that what I want out of my life is to fight for what I believe is right. And even if I die fighting, even if I don't get there, I still think my life is. I'm successful in life if I do what I think is right. If I live up to my own morals and I try to fight for what I think is right.
Yeah.
So, I think every person should live this way. Personally, I feel much happier this way. I think that's what we need. We need.
I also think you're advocating very well in an industry where like you're not very well represented. Because if you think about it, just the average animal rights activist I've talked to or seen online has been like, you've had essentially the same or some of the same values, but you've displayed them like just calmly and like while being objective. You know what I mean?
Because you've been intelligent about it.
Yeah,
you
obviously.
understood it. There's people I've had
like
people.
the second you get emotional, which is a very emotional subject,
yeah.
you know. But the second you get emotional is where you start to lose a bit of like
Exactly.
of credibility, but also objectivity. You know, you don't get to play, but like.
But it doesn't really matter, right? Because at the end of the day, even if the person who's presenting to you the idea is a little bit emotional, when it comes to stuff like this, it's easy to become emotional. So
Yeah.
it doesn't really matter. You should still listen to the message.
Of course.
That's what being critical thinking, the critical
Of
thinker is
course.
about, right?
Yeah.
About listening to the message regardless of who's saying the message.
Yeah.
So I can understand why some activists become emotional because it's, I personally don't watch the footage that I showed you. I see it maybe once or twice a week.
Yeah.
But there's people who see it almost every day. There's people who talk to other people who edit videos or do stuff like this, and they see this every day. And I can understand when you see it every day that it just messes with your head. You become.
It's also smart putting I'm doing a social experiment. Come talk to me. Not putting anything about what you're speaking about, because then you just
Yeah,
okay,
because
good.
most people would run away. That's the reality.
Yeah,
right?
that's true. That's true.
And you ask me why not everybody changes. It's because people don't want to change. It's difficult to change,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. But it's also so like it's just so ingrained in all of society.
Yeah.
So like. Yeah.
But I will ask you this one final question, and
Yeah.
I'll let you, because we have the long conversation,
yeah.
and I really enjoyed it.
You give me your when I leave.
I'll give
your-
you. I'll give you. So, how many more animals should be exploited and killed for you before you make this change? How many do you want?
2 cows.
2 cows.
2 more.
No more, man.
2 more. No more.
No
After
more.
that, I'll stop, or I'll try to.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, no,
sure.
but we
can
just
have,
finished. Yeah.
If you wait, you can have a
Sorry, I
conversation.
was just looking at the camera.
Yeah,
But no,
yeah.
essentially the answer should be 0. But it's not. I mean, it's always something, because at my dad's house, one day out of 2 we do like a vegetarian night, because it's just not good to eat meat
Yeah.
every single night.
Yeah.
because of iron and just all that stuff. He's also a little older, so he has to watch
Yeah.
his cholesterol. But I'm thinking like, my dad lived like he ate a lot of meat, and it just like it clogged up his arteries. You know, it's same as wine and alcohol essentially.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I
No,
feel
it's
like, yeah.
definitely not good. Like
I feel like, well, I can't quantify the amount of meat I'm gonna eat before I make the change. I don't think, but I think I don't know. I would ideally try to reduce, which is what I've
I can't listen. I can't police you. I would just say
no, of course not. But
personally,
it's the right decision.
I would just say think about your own values and think about the values that you want your actions to say. I don't know if you want to have kids. I don't know what you want to do, but at the end of when you're on your deathbed, do you want to say I stood by my values, or do you want to say I just followed through because I kind of liked what I was doing,
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't mean that don't smoke weed. It doesn't mean don't do anything. I smoke weed, by the way. Fair enough. I don't care. Like, it doesn't mean do whatever you like, but when there's victims involved, like, we have a responsibility to not
that's true.
create victims.
That's
you
true.
see
That's
what I
true.
mean?
Yeah, you're right.
That's all I'm
You're right.
saying. That's all. And I can't, as I said, you'll go from here, you'll make your choices.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
can't police you. I just want you to know that you can make different choices.
I feel like the second I have a lot of money, it's gonna be so much easier.
it's not even, but you said it's cheaper.
yeah, it can be, but it's like the enjoyment for that price isn't great because I could if I went to like if I go to nice restaurants all the time, I can eat vegetarian.
But do you
like
eat
this.
out a lot, or do you eat in?
Obviously, I don't have a lot of money, so I eat in, and if I do eat out, which is like given my work, I work a lot, or I'm at uni a lot, I have to go to the kebab. That's the only thing open.
And you
know what
said
I mean?
UK, not here.
UK, yeah, UK.
Try
so
the
it's usually-
vegetarian slaughter. You know the vegetarian slaughter?
Yeah, I think there's a
it's
couple.
plant-based replacements.
But there's so many good ones which I should try.
Yeah,
But
there's
it's-
so many. Like, I personally, so for me, when I went vegan, I saw it as such a nice challenge to try, because I like cooking too, and I saw it as such a nice challenge to try and see, oh, maybe I can replicate this, maybe I can replicate that, how I can make it. And nowadays we have so much, like on Instagram, so many accounts that provide food, so many books. You have ChatGPT, you have
Yeah,
so
that's
much
true. You
resource
can-
available.
it's,
it's
I know that if I had to do it, I would find
Yeah.
it pretty easy. You, know
You
what I
can
mean?
do
But
it
it's-
even
I think
within
it's
your
the initial,
budget.
It's the initial saying, okay,
Yeah.
I'm taking a stand, and that's
yeah,
it. That's the
exactly.
hardest. That's the hardest
exactly.
part. You know?
And I can only show you the way. You have to. walk
Yeah,
the
yeah,
way.
but that's why I
the
know. But
point.
now
Yeah.
at least I'm gonna look out for this type of stuff. Like even if it's like 2% more than I did, before, it's still gonna make a huge difference. I think.
Okay, I appreciate talking to you. What
Yeah,
was
it
your
was
name,
great.
by the way?
A shill, like Achilles.
Yeah,
without
yeah,
the S, yeah.
a kill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That chip guy, real chip.
Yeah, that's my YouTube. This is my Instagram.
And this is a QR code.
Yeah. If you scan this QR code, or it's the same as going on this website and they
Yeah.
ask you for a code and you put this code. But if you scan the QR code, you don't have to put in the code.
Mm.
I recommend you watch this. The most important speech you'll ever hear.
Okay.
It's a really good video. It's a really good speech
it
I
by-
gave. Hmm?
Is it yours?
No, it's not a speech of mine. It's
Oh,
a speech
okay.
from a guy in US, also an animal rights activist, who holds a speech in front of a university. But it's just a really good speech.
I go to Sussex University. It's a very with that type of thing. They're usually super There's
Yeah.
a lot of stuff.
So just promise me you'll watch this, and if
No, I'll watch
you
it.
have other resources that you want there, you have Challenge 22. They hook you up with a nutritionist, send you recipes every day. They help you go vegan for free. You have 24/7 live chat help.
No, I'll shoot you a text
Yeah.
if I take the step.
Yeah. Just send me on Instagram. I'm on
Yeah.
Instagram. Okay.
All right, cool, bro.
Nice to meet you. I'm
Nice to meet
Chip. Achille.
Yeah. That's it.
Okay. Go
See you
vegan,
soon.
man. You're an intelligent guy. Everyone, I hope you enjoyed the conversation. I actually enjoyed the conversation with this guy. Hey, you want to try a social experiment? Thoughts on lab-grown meat? As long as it doesn't exploit any animals, I'm all for it. I don't care. The LT and the great conversation. Yeah, I also enjoyed the conversation. Yeah, I mean, he was an intelligent guy, clearly. I mean, he smoked a whole joint and was still able to rationalize everything perfectly and say everything perfectly. I enjoyed it thoroughly. So, how long did you talk with him? I have no clue, Sam Smith, how long I talked to him, because I didn't look at the time, to be honest. But I think it was a pretty long conversation. Yeah. And hey, everyone, if you enjoyed it and if you liked it and you want to see more of that, hey, be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you know when I'm online. I sometimes go online like this. I don't know what happens. So, yeah. Linda says, I got oh, yeah, I see it, Linda. I got donations. But unfortunately, I don't think I can see how, what those donations are. Maybe if I scroll. Oh, to the people who donated, can you please tell me who donated so that I can thank you? Because I can't see. No, that's too far down. I can't see them, Linda, on the stream. Yeah, sadly. Yeah, I actually did enjoy. Like that's the thing, you know. It's. I think he will make the change at some point. I'm not sure if he will make it now, but definitely a seed was planted, and I saw it. That and he understood it perfectly. So, yeah. DRK Blue says next person is vegan, 100%. Hopefully. And I don't know if we've had that many good conversations so far. Actually, they were pretty good conversations. There were also some bad ones, but you know. Oluwali said he's French, there's no hope. Come on, Oluwali, let's not be xenophobic. French people can also be vegan. There's plenty of French people who are vegan. There's plenty of French people who are compassionate. Okay, doesn't matter. This thing doesn't matter. I understand the culture is rife with it, but he said he lives in UK now. I think he can do it. I'm hopeful. It is an equal exchange for the hunter. The animal is killed in a much better way it would have naturally, and the hunter gets to provide for his family. Oh God, hunting. Yeah, sure, because hunting is immoral. If you choosing to take somebody's life for something that you don't need, are those your values, Brooks, McDonald? Are those your values, that it's okay to kill somebody even if you don't need to, just because you want to, and because you get benefit from it? Is that what you live by? Brooks, are those your values? Because if those are your values, hey, far be it from me to judge you. Actually, I will judge you if you say that those are your values. But it's kind of messed up to think about it if you think it's okay to kill somebody. Yeah, that is mean, exactly. Chris Welsh says, I think many have come around to a plant-based diet with some meat. Maybe, I don't know. I don't really care. You know, at the end of the day, I don't care what people eat. It's so funny, you know, that all these conversations. Well, with this guy was a little bit different. He kind of got it. We went back and forth through all sorts of subjects surrounding it and the actual subject of animal rights. But most people I talk to, they just go with what they want, what they need, what they feel, what they never ever listen to anything else other than themselves. They don't listen that there's somebody who's being exploited and slaughtered for them. No, they just think, you know what, I want meat, I like this, I like that. You can't live your life only thinking about yourself. You gotta understand that you gotta make the rational choices. You gotta start making good choices. You're adults. You gotta start being responsible. We want everyone here listening, everyone here wants a better world. Everybody. Whether it is because you think free speech is your free speech is I don't know. I was gonna say cold, but I don't know if that's the right word. Whether you think you don't have enough free speech, whether you think you don't have enough rights, whether you think you need more money, whatever it is, whether you think, you know what, black people don't have enough rights, women don't have enough rights, whatever it is, you need to fight for the causes that you believe in. And the reality is, when there's victims involved, you can't go around justifying exploitation, abuse, and slaughter just because you want to, just because you. And you can't be apathetic towards it also. You got to do something, you know. You can't just sit there and do nothing. Because when you sit there and do nothing, being complacent means participating in it. That's all it is. Tarsus says, get a real job. Tarsus, I do have a real job. I'm a software engineer, but I also fight for animal rights. And Tarsus, by the way, the reason why you have rights is because of human rights activists like myself, but I'm an animal rights activist, but human rights activists have fought for your rights. So that's why you have rights. So when you say get a job, what you're implying is say stop doing this because this is bothering me, and go do something that I consider productive. Well, I don't really care what you consider productive. What I care is that everybody on Earth deserves the right to body autonomy. So please, respect everybody's body autonomy. That's it. And of course, I understand that there's systemic oppression, there's systemic things that you cannot possibly get out of. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that if you're presented, and you are presented, you just gotta open your eyes and look. If you're presented with the choice between choosing systemic oppression or not systemic oppression, or more systemic oppression or less systemic oppression. Basically, one option is arguably worse for everybody else than the rest. Why choose the one that's worse just because you like it? We can't possibly be that selfish. That's all I'm saying. The sign says, I'm doing a social experiment. Come talk to me. Is a snail sentient life? I think you meant to ask, asks Chris Word. I am not sure if a snail is sentient or not. There's a debate whether snails are sentient or not. But I argue on the side of, I would go with the side of caution and say that they might be sentient, and thus I do not want to exploit or slaughter them. There you go. See, Linda says snails are sentient. I have heard opinions on both sides. I have read about it on both sides. I also think they're sentient. That's my opinion, but I wouldn't say that it is as scientifically, I don't know, based as the fact that cows, chickens, pigs, all of them, that they are sentient, okay? Another person asks what is on the sign. The sign says, I'm doing a social experiment, come talk to me. Animals are legal property, so they are legal slaves. Exactly. How considerate is it on you to not enslave somebody and to grant them this one negative right not to be treated as objects? Very well put. Vegan anthem. Chris Word. Oh my God, Chris Word. Okay, Chris Word. Before I answer your question, which, by the way, for people watching back, Chris Word asks, so you realize how many snails are killed for gardens? Chris Word, okay, I'll respond because I asked to the other person beforehand, and I'll tell you also, please just Google crop deaths argument and don't I don't need to baby you. I don't need to spoon feed you arguments. You know, you can Google whatever arguments you use. You can Google if they have been debunked already, and they have. And I'll tell you exactly how, okay? This whole crop deaths argument doesn't really matter in the face of veganism. Veganism is the position where we reject animal exploitation, where we say no animals should be exploited, abused, or slaughtered for us, right? When you create houses, when you crop for fields, whatever it is that you do, you will inherently create some harm, whether that means killing some animals, whatever that means. Even in that process, if you create houses, if you create jobs, whatever it is that you do, even in that process, if you have the option not to do so, then you have a moral obligation to choose the option where you kill the least, where you exploit the least, where you use the least, right? Where you're basically the most fair towards everybody involved, right? That's something we can agree on. Okay, well, in crop production, sadly, most people who participate in crop production, the farmers of crop production, are not vegan themselves. So they don't really have an incentive to choose the best option. Hence why there is such a thing as veganic farming, where farmers are vegan and they try to not kill innocent beings like snails or whatever. However, even in situations where none of the farmers are vegan, even in situations when for crop production you would still be killing some animals, you would be surprised to find out that most of the crops are actually grown for the animals in animal agriculture. Therefore, you want to try the social experiment? I just ask you some questions, get you to think a little bit.
Okay.
You okay being live from my YouTube channel?
You have 100 viewers, yeah?
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Okay, you okay live?
May I bring my friend too?
Yeah,
He
sure.
loves the song.
Yeah. Hi. Can you guys come a little bit like here? Yeah, so that you're in
Hi.
view? Nice. Okay. Where are you guys from?
UK, London, England.
California.
California and UK. Okay. What's your names?
Maximilian.
Maximilian?
I'm Eldon.
Eldon.
Nice
I'm
to meet
Chip.
you.
Nice to meet
Chip?
you.
Nice to meet
Chip.
you.
Chip.
Where are you
okay.
from?
I'm Romania originally, but I live here.
I see, lovely.
Okay, so I'm gonna turn this around and you tell me what you think. It says animal abuse should be legal.
I disagree.
Probably disagree, yeah.
Why?
I'm a big animal guy. I'm a big empathy guy. So I believe that everything's got feelings.
Yeah, animals
So
have feelings.
If you can avoid hurting an animal, then that's what you should do. You should avoid hurting it. If it's a necessity, then.
Do you agree with that statement?
Yeah, I would agree. I think especially dogs are extremely empathetic. They give your all to you. I think abusing anything in life is probably bad.
How would you define abuse?
I would say physical or emotional harm.
Fuck yeah, that's the best. That's exactly what I would have said. Do you agree?
Yeah, you can hurt people in different. You can abuse someone in many different ways.
Yeah.
An animal, yeah, physical. You can just don't be a dick.
Yeah,
it's
don't
the
be a dick.
most important thing. Yeah.
Okay, so I appreciate that. By the way, very nicely done. It's wrong to abuse cats or dogs. What about cows, chickens, pigs?
Um,
Want me to go first?
you can go first.
See, me myself, I can't lie. I'm a big meat eater.
But how can you justify that? I'm sorry, just to interrupt you there, because how can you justify that when you said that if you have the option to reduce harm or to not do anything, to not cause harm to any animal, you would choose that, right?
Yeah.
Like, do you
I
still
know,
believe
but-
that about yourself, knowing that you have other options, but still you choose to create harm or to exploit and slaughter
I
animals?
think it's difficult because the world we live in, we all have personal choice, and if you can avoid causing harm in some ways, then I like eating meats. Maybe in the future I will change.
So
but
wait,
this is
finish
my-
that sentence. If you can avoid causing harm, then.
you should do it. Yeah.
So do
But-
you think you can avoid causing
But I
harm?
think for me it's kind of like the meat's on the shelf. I'm not causing any physical harm. So, and in my opinion, by buying that meat, that's not saying I'm not indirectly causing harm by buying that. It's already there.
But
Someone else is going to eat it if
But
I
supply
don't.
and
Or worse,
demand-
it will just be thrown away. I
But with
understand.
supply and demand would imply that when you buy that, somebody will
Yeah.
have to replace that product, and thus another animal will get killed for you.
I mean, I think it's a lot of it's based on the intelligence of the animal. I mean, what do you define as like an animal that can experience emotional abuse, for example?
Well,
like a chicken relative to like a dog.
I mean, the sentience of a chicken is exactly the same as a dog.
But that's not an
Brain-wise and empathy-wise, they're not. Like if
They
you-
have emotions. They want to have social interactions. They have. They
No,
feel
but-
pain. They feel happiness. They feel sadness.
But in comparison, like a chicken to like a dog, for example, the emotional intelligence is.
But emotional intelligence is something else. It's the capability of reading emotions on somebody else, right? That's what emotional intelligence is, or about knowing yourself, about acknowledging your own emotions. That's part of emotional intelligence. There's even human beings who lack emotional intelligence, right?
Of course.
And there's even human beings who have the intelligence of an animal, right? There's human beings who are cognitively impaired, who have the intelligence of a pig or of a cow. Would we then say it's okay to slaughter or to exploit these individuals just because they are less intelligent?
Definitely, yeah, definitely you don't want to be exploiting
Yeah, I just think you
anyone,
need to
but
like.
what is exploitation?
It's
You know,
it's a
it's
definition
kinda
of what you define as like culturally acceptable. I mean, I think it's like.
But do you think what is culturally acceptable is equated to what is moral?
I mean, I think a lot of people put emphasis on dogs and cats as if they're like almost human to them, to like equivalent to humans. I think that's not true. I think a dog.
They have emotional connection to them, yeah.
I think with dogs, I do, but at the same time, the way I view it is, I think it's a dog. I think it's an animal. If I went.
We
to
are
another
also
country-
animals, right?
Yeah, but I
We're
think-
mammals.
looking out for ourselves though, at the
Yeah.
same time. Like,
So,
people have eaten meat, for a long time. Why now should we?
It's how
why
we're
so
not?
how can
programmed.
we justify? What's the difference? I understand the programming, right? Like, but I'm asking you what your values are. Do you think that your values, if something that you consider wrong because you were born into it, like let's say people who were born into slavery, right? Like people who were born in a time where slavery is accepted, does that mean that they should accept slavery as moral?
No, absolutely.
I think that's just off top. I mean, how would you view a dog eating a chicken?
How would I view a child painting the wall with a marker?
But
The child doesn't know any better.
but are
A
you
dog might not
concerned-
know any better.
but, like,
You know better,
When a
right?
dog
That's
is
the
like
thing.
when a dog brutally kills a chicken, do you view that as abuse?
I would.
Because you said we're all animals. Do you
I
think we
still
all
view it
are-
as abuse, but I view it in the sense that they don't know any better, do they? Right? Like,
So you would agree then, because you were saying we're all animals, but you
Yeah.
agree that by saying that in a sense, we're not
think-
equal. in
'cause we're
terms of
more sentient,
intelligence
we
and
of
think
course
we-
we're not
we
equal.
have
No,
more-
we're
we have
moral
more
agents, right? We're
responsibility.
moral agents. They're moral patients.
So
you
I
know
think
the
it's
difference.
I think it's about. So you say there's a disconnect. I think it's subjective to where you draw that line. I think a lot of like.
No. I would say any sentient being deserves moral consideration.
So should we put like a huge emphasis on dogs killing chickens more than we should put on like humans killing chickens, for example.
I think if we can, if a dog has the choice to not kill a chicken and a dog chooses to kill a chicken, and the dog knows that killing a chicken is wrong, then yeah, that dog should not be
But
killing
it's
a
for
chicken.
survival, right?
Well, again, does that matter to you? Because you're not doing it for survival. Like
Okay.
an animal, you could justify it, as you said, that they do it for survival, but you don't do it for
I
survival.
hear what you're saying. All right, I appreciate you, bro. We need to head out now.
Okay.
Respect.
How many more animals should be exploited for you before you make this change?
A couple cows, couple chickens.
I'm a hungry guy. I need my meat. I've got
Yeah.
my personal goals,
I
and I'm going to
love meat.
achieve that through eating my
So
meat.
how can you be against animal
we gotta
abuse
go.
while at the same time supporting animal abuse?
Take it easy, boss.
So you are for animal abuse. Now I would call that animal abusers. These guys are just blah, says Linda. Exactly. They were very blah. Yeah. What was I saying before? Oh yeah, crop agriculture. When you buy animal products, you are supporting way more crop agriculture. So if you think a number of animals die for crop production, then that number is heavily multiplied when you buy animal products on top of the animal that is being exploited for that particular product. So don't you think you have the moral obligation to choose the option that causes the least harm as well as the least exploitation? I would say so, right? So please choose that. Pig's Dream says way to hold them accountable. Yeah. Bro, if you saw your muscles, says Moonright. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. I can't. During winter, it's a little bit harder to show my muscles, but they are there. Why pretend to be empathetic if you're not even going to entertain it? Oh yeah, that guy says he's empathetic towards animals, right? Yeah. What a ridiculous person. Yeah. I think you should have driven home the moral agency argument. That's my go-to. Yeah, I mean, I tried to, but they were talking one after the other, saying different things and kind of derailing it. And I was trying to be respectful and listen to them, but at the same time keep them on point. And then they just left. So that's what happens, you know, when people, yeah. Is this Detroit? No, hell no. This is Amsterdam. And yeah, everybody, if you're not subscribed, hey, subscribe, hit that subscribe. Let's get that number up and hit that notification bell so that you know when I'm live. And yeah, maybe you're enjoying these conversations. And if you want to have conversations with me, you know, contact me on Instagram. My handle is RealChipGuy. I'm up for debates, I'm up for conversations, and I'm even up for just for chatting and text. Hey, you want to be vegan, you don't know how to, you're on the fence, whatever, you have some arguments, you say, I have a certain argument you've never thought about. Well, if you have that, just send them to me on Instagram, or first Google them and then send them to me on Instagram so that I don't have to do the same thing for you, double the work, right? Yannick, the YouTuber, says, do you remember me? I don't know who you are now. I remember the name vaguely, but I don't remember exactly who you were. I've been talking to a lot of people, sorry. Don't take it personally. Gotta love all the apologists chilling for the fellow animal abusers, yeah. Yeah, of course, you know, because to claim that something that somebody doing the same thing that you're doing is wrong would imply that what you are doing is also wrong, and to recognize that would somehow mean that you would have to change, and people don't want to change. That's the reality. People don't want to change. Do you clip out those interactions into videos? I haven't done that with these live streams, but I think I want to start doing that. I've been thinking about it. I've been thinking of rigging, of just making myself a thing where I attach both the phone and the camera, and I record the camera horizontally so that I can then publish those conversations online. But yeah. I feel like the whole non-vegan angle is just bashing severely intellectually challenged humans through a mission. Yeah. Sadly. You absolutely should, says Cornell. Cornell, where are you from, by the way? I have a friend from Romania called also Cornell. Amsterdam is a beautiful city. Yes, it is. I agree. My feet are getting frozen, so, and I need to go to the bathroom, so. MED on behalf of yours steers and flips them off. Cornell says I'm from the US. Nice, Cornell. Oh my God, somebody else asking me if I believe in God. I don't, wait, which God? Which God? Prodigal Prince asked me, do you believe in God? Which God? It's so funny to me that you will notice in the chat how many people start conversations exactly the same way.
Okay.
Want to try a social experiment? Yannick is here. He is someone who spoke to you in person and is now Veen. Yeah, I vaguely remember. I'm sorry if I don't remember, Yannick. The only God, the God and Father of Jesus of Nazareth, who is the Christ. Well, that's your only God. There's other gods out there. You consider that the only God. Why do you consider that the only God? You know, there's other gods out there. Who's to say that the real God isn't Allah, the God? Who's to say? Why is your God the God and not Allah the God? Only one says. There you go. It's so funny because if we get into religious conversations, it's like I generally don't care about what you follow. Like I don't care what you believe, as long as you don't push your beliefs on others, right? So don't put religions on others. It's kind of silly. Chip, do you believe in leprechauns? Yes or no? Yeah, exactly. Do I believe in leprechauns? Do I believe in an imaginary being? I don't know. No, they're imaginary. Do I believe they're imaginary? Yes. Is there any proof for their existence? No. And that's what I want also, what Ali is saying. Don't use your religion to objectify others. Is there proof that God doesn't exist? Prodigal house. There is proof that there is no proof that God exists. There doesn't need to be proof that God doesn't exist, or there is just zero proof that God would exist. Zero. There's zero proof. That's it. That's why I don't believe in God. Are you from the Netherlands? Asks me Yumus Khan. I am not from the Netherlands, but I do live in the Netherlands. And I am theoretically a Dutch person right now, officially. Is morality relative for you or objective? Those are not the only two options. Morality is subjective. It's not, there's no such thing as objective morality. How could morality be independent of subject, right? There's no moral rules that are objectively true. And I have heard this question, well, God made objective reality, therefore, God made objective morality, and therefore morality is objective. If God made objective morality, then morality is subjective because God made it, right? It has a subject. Morality is intersubjective, says Moonrise Studios. Yeah, certain rules of morality are intersubjective. I agree to that. Cornell asks, Chip, the interaction with Achille or the young woman before him should definitely be clipped out of your channel. Okay, good. Thank you for telling me that. That's a good one. Is violence subjective or objectively wrong? I would say violence is subjectively wrong, of course. There might be people who are into violence. Hey, if I like somebody to step on my nuts, then who are you to judge? It's still violent, right? If I like somebody to kick me in the nuts, it's still violent, but I might like it. I just find it so funny that all these people asking me about morality or objective of subjective morality, all of these people trying to ask me anything about that, they're just trying to gotcha. Aha, you see, I gotcha. I gotcha your argument. Ha. Well, I don't care. There's no gotcha there. I'm not a scholar in moral philosophy, so you might even get me at certain points. All I know is that I follow certain moral rules, just like everybody follows certain moral rules. In an essence, I follow the golden rule: do not unto others what you want done unto you. In fact, I would argue that I follow even the whole point that if I have the option to make somebody's life easier, I should make somebody's life easier, but I should definitely not make somebody's life harder. So yeah, what else do you need to know? That's all you need to know. Everything else doesn't really matter. Yeah, and please don't spam. Martin says really nicely, please don't spam. If you're gonna spam, you might get timed out. Most people think they can prove their point with an I gotcha with one sentence. Exactly. That's what most people want. They want to, you know what? I gotcha. You see? You see? I don't care. It's so easy to find contradictions. It's so easy, especially when, like, the most ridiculous thing would be for somebody who's religious to claim there's no contradictions. Like, come on, at least acknowledge that if you're at least Christian, you will know that there's a fuck ton of contradictions in the Bible. A fuck ton. Like, not one or two. Full of it. What do you consider a good life for cattle? That's my question. Well, first of all, who asked that question? Let me see. Oh, I can't. Oh. Why is it that I can't scroll back down? I don't know. This app doesn't work well. Whoever asked that question. First of all, we don't call them cattle. They're individuals. They're not a group of objects you can just move around and do whatever you want. They're individuals and they're called cows. So what do I consider a good life for cows? One where they have body autonomy, whatever that is. I don't care. That is one good life. One where they have body autonomy. That's it. Where they decide for their own body. It's that simple. Should animals be allowed to decide for their own body? They can make decisions for their own body. Why do you have to force them and make decisions for them? Especially when it's in your own interest, not in their interest. How is that fair? It's not. Hey Martin, thank you for moderating. I appreciate you. You're so religiously vegan, you're standing in the cold, holding a sign, lying to strangers and shouting insults, says Draco. Sure, man. I don't think you know what religion is, but that's okay. You can think that about myself. I don't really care what you think about me. All I care is that I want to fight for animal rights. All I care is that it's not fair to exploit and slaughter innocent beings. So I will continue fighting for their rights. Norval Dragon, what does your sign say? My sign says I'm doing a social experiment. Come talk to me. The audience says go Chip, yeah. What do you think about Roma gypsies in Romania? What do I think about them? They're individuals who deserve rights. That's what I think about them. They deserve equal rights and opportunities to all humans, to all other Romanians. You guys want to try a social experiment? Draco's having a little tantrum. Yeah, that's the thing, huh? That's what will happen. You know, because I mean, I don't think, like, I'll ask everybody in the chat. You're not vegan, okay? Person who's not vegan and who's listening to me, I'll ask you, do you think that it's okay to take a dog, hang them by their leg, and beat them to death for exercise. Just want to try a social experiment? So Michael Knight says yes. So there you go. There's people whose values, Michael Knight, for example, who says that it's okay to take a dog. Hi.
I'm curious. What are you? We were curious as well.
Okay, that's okay. I can talk to all three of you. Can you come a little bit closer here?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm doing a social experiment where I ask people about what their values are and what they're in relation to animals. So for example, I'll put a hypothetical out there, right? If I were to take a dog, hang them by their leg, and beat them to death every day, for the sole purpose of getting
I
exercise.
already know where you're going. I just want to shake your hand. Good
Okay,
job. Man.
okay.
Good job.
Okay, so I'll talk to you guys. I don't know what's happening there. Okay, you already know. So fuck them. Yeah, fuck them. Thank you. Okay, so if can you come a little bit closer? Are you okay being live for my YouTube channel, by the way?
Fine.
Yeah. Okay. I got to ask. So if I were to take a dog and hang them by their leg, beat them to death, is that okay according to your own values?
No,
I guess
of course not.
Why is that? Why is it wrong?
Because any animal deserves no cruelty. I feel like.
Okay.
And that's. While I'm saying this, I realize I eat meat.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
arrived
yeah.
at the
I
place where we
already
needed
think
to
we're
arrive.
going somewhere with this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then, coming back to eating meat, why I would say it's wrong to do this to a dog because I have other alternatives to exercise or to live my life, right?
Yeah.
I don't need to kick a dog to death
No.
to get exercise or to survive. So then, do you think that in case for food, for clothing, for any other situation, we have enough alternatives that we don't need to kill or exploit animals?
It's definitely getting there, because with vegan alternatives or whatever.
Yeah.
But I think most people are just still used to eating meat. But I feel like in the coming years, it might change.
But in a situation where the whole society does what I do, right? Like hang a dog and beat them to death for
Yeah.
exercise. If gyms appear all of a sudden, people might still be used to them punching dogs. But do you think they have the moral obligation to use gyms rather than the dogs?
But I would say it's a social thing, like the industry of eating meat, right? It's very powerful. So yeah,
It is,
that's what I
right?
would
But
say.
we as individuals, like the industry is powerful, but they don't make the choices for
Yeah,
us,
for
right?
sure, for
Like
sure.
we as individuals still make the choices. And if we're against what they're doing, how can we be against what they're doing if we're paying them to do it? Right? So would you say that you too are against animal exploitation?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. So can you be against animal exploitation while at the same time supporting it by buying animal products?
I mean, I would say we should all be vegetarians. I'm not,
Yeah.
but we should. No, but
I feel the same. I think definitely should. It's super easy for everyone who eats meat to eat way less meat. I feel like.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And
exactly.
that is a nice way to eventually stop it altogether.
Yeah.
At least reduce our consumption.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, I mean, obviously, reducing is good in that if you're going in the direction of stopping, but even while reducing, you're still using and killing certain individuals who didn't want to die, who didn't want to be used, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you could also buy organic meat, right?
Do you
Which
think in organic meat the animals don't get exploited or killed?
Well, they live in better conditions, right?
Did you live in good conditions?
Yeah.
Would it be okay for somebody to kill you right now because they like the taste of your flesh?
Well, I mean, I don't know. If I was dead, how could I mind the eat?
Would it be okay for somebody to kill your boyfriend right now?
Maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Fresh start. No.
I'm only asking because like it's not about giving them bigger cages, right? It's about not putting them in cages, not exploiting, about letting them have body autonomy. Do you know what body autonomy is?
What is it?
Like agency.
Yeah, it just means they decide for their own body.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
literally it. Do you think animals in animal agriculture decide for their own body?
Right now?
Yeah.
No, definitely not.
No. Do you think it's important that they should have at least this basic right of body autonomy?
100%.
Yeah.
I feel like eventually it will
It will.
come to this
Yeah.
point, and this is not something you can just change in one day. I feel like.
Not as a society, but as an individual you can.
As an
right?
individual, you can.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
You have convinced us.
Yeah,
so we
yeah,
are just
yeah,
getting
yeah,
there.
yeah.
Yeah, but I just gotta ask because like, and this is the hard question: how many more animals should be exploited or slaughtered for you before you make this change?
I can change fairly quickly.
Yeah.
I don't know.
From today on.
From today on, we could try. you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, because
Yeah.
that's the thing, like we don't see what's happening to them.
No.
We're on this other side where animal agriculture has just said, all I need is your money. You don't need to see all this horror. You just give me your money and I give you the product. You don't
Yeah.
need to see all the shit that's happening.
Eventually, sometimes in the news, you see like
You see it.
the taser sticks on the pigs and stuff.
Yeah. Have you guys ever seen footage from a slaughterhouse, for
Yeah,
example?
Once.
yeah, and the noises. And
Do you want to see it? I have some footage from
Yeah,
the
sure.
slaughterhouse right now. Okay, well, I like it when people want to see it because not a lot of people
I
do
mean,
want to
it's
see it.
important to see.
Is it
Yeah.
like the gas chambers and
Yeah, so I will show you, for example, I don't know if you have seen what happens to. Oh, this is growing pens for pigs, but I will show you, for example, for eggs. Have you seen for eggs? What happens? Because a lot of people don't realize what happens for eggs. So let me go to. This is for meat. Okay, so this is. Oh, this is how chickens get killed, by the way, for meat. They get put into that water is electric. They shake, they get electrocuted, and then they have their throat being cut. Yeah, it's pretty messed up.
Yeah.
Like imagine each bird here is an individual who has feelings, who has emotions, who doesn't want to die. They're individuals who don't want to be hanged upside down and have this happen to them, right? This is kind of insane. And,
Mogen we er even door?
you want?
Dank je.
Really? Yes.
directness.
They could have
directness.
passed.
He was making statements as well, I think.
Yeah, some people are like
Yeah.
that. This is how cows get killed, by the way. So they get put into a thing where they get contained. You see in a pen. This is local, by the way, as you can see there. And he is using a bolt gun.
Is this grass-fed as well?
Yeah. It
So
doesn't
if
really
you buy
matter.
a grass-fed steak, it's still this
Same.
shit.
It's the same thing.
They know what they're
Biological, local, whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
free range, exactly. So as you can see, he's screaming for his life. He doesn't want to die.
It's like a taser thing.
Yeah, it's like a it's a bolt gun. It's a
Yeah.
gun that shoots like a bolt to incapacitate them. It's for the sole purpose. As you can see, it doesn't always work perfectly. It's a stun. Actually, this is a stun gun. Actually, yeah. So the purpose for stunning them is so that they can easily be handled
Yeah.
when because they're big animals. They can be dangerous, of course. So it's for the workers' sake. But as you can see, it doesn't always work perfectly. They smell the blood. They know what's happening. This is like, I mean, look at this.
Yeah. And they understand it all.
Of course they understand.
I definitely believe that.
And in situations like this, by the way, which is the most messed up thing that I also read, is what happens is that the animals actually get put back in line. So they already, if they wake up after the stunning process, they get put back in line of the slaughter. So they already know what's happening, and they just have to wait it up until they get killed.
But
Like,
why do they put them back in line?
it's just procedure. I don't know exactly why. That's just the procedure for most places. I think it's for the sake of safety, nothing else, for the sake of the safety of the workers. Because as far as I understand, they have certain procedure how the animal goes to a place from one place to another, and if that doesn't go through, then they have to go back, and that's just so that because they don't have a good enough procedure. And I want to show you 4 eggs. So this is 4 eggs. So these are chicks that were just born for eggs. And these people, what they do is they look at them and they inspect which one is male and which one is female, as you can see, the CX and X. The females go to local farms, small farms, backyard farms, or intensive farms, doesn't really matter. They just produce eggs, right? Females produce eggs. And these are the males who don't produce eggs, and they're considered useless. And they are just blended up alive on their first day of life, yeah. This is pretty standard practice.
Is that meat used for anything, or?
It's usually either used to create like
bottom of the barrel meat.
Yeah, not for humans, but for animals.
Oh,
like
damn.
It's usually for dogs or for cats or stuff like that.
Along with the eggshells.
Yeah, everything. They just blend up everything. It's the easiest. And they just were born up alive and like on their first day of life. It's insane, right? There's also another procedure where they get put into a bag and asphyxiated to death. pigs get put in gas chambers. Pigs are killed in gas chambers.
Yeah.
They're well, they don't get killed in gas chambers, but rather they're. I think I showed you enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah, so pigs are put in gas chambers for the sole purpose of stunning them. They put like 10 or 20 in a cage, and then the cage moves slowly down into a chamber where their CO2 concentrations is like at 90%. And when they get there, they asphyxiate to that basically because it's CO2,
Yeah.
and it burns them. It feels like, I don't know if you've ever had like Coca-Cola or stuff like that. And you know when you drink too much and you feel like burping and you
Yeah.
feel a little bit burn in your neck? Well, they just have all of that. Their whole neck, it burns them inside out, and they die a horrible thing, and then they get their throat cut, and yeah. So this is animal agriculture in a nutshell, and
Yeah.
this isn't the worst of the worst, right? This is just like standard practice,
Yeah.
happens everywhere.
Mhm.
So do you guys feel like you want to keep supporting this?
I feel like I
After
can
this,
quit.
I don't think I can eat it
No.
anymore.
I could quit eating meat. I feel like because
And milk and all of it, right?
yeah,
Because like
yeah, even milk as well. Yeah.
yeah, so what happens for milk is what has to happen for cows to produce milk?
They have to have calves. Oh,
Yeah.
they get the calves. They put the calves away.
Yeah.
Like this is actually sometimes in the news.
Yeah.
And
So-
even like the milking process, it always seems how they portray it is always very peaceful.
yeah.
But I know like there's so much fucked up shit behind the scenes.
Of course.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So cows are mammals. They're like us. They produce
Yeah.
milk after they have babies. So in order to produce milk, they have to be
Calves.
pregnant to have
Yeah.
babies. Farmers forcefully impregnate them. The procedure goes like somebody puts their hands in their anus, hold their
Yeah, yeah.
cervix, and inject bull semen in their vagina.
Yeah, yeah.
Or somebody puts a dildo with bull semen in their vagina directly. That's standard procedure. It's cheaper than having a bull, right? Because
Yeah,
a bull
yeah.
you would have to feed them. So
course.
but you just buy the semen. After 9 months, when the babies are born, as you said, they get separated from their mothers because they would drink their milk, and they have to sell the milk, so they can't drink their milk. If they're born male, they get killed. If they're born female, year-over-year forceful impregnation, then killed, then have their babies taken from them. And after 6 to 8 years, when they can no longer be impregnated with ease, they get killed because they can't. They're useless to the
They're-
farmer.
Damn.
And they can live up to 24 years, so at a fraction of the lifetime, a quarter of their life, they just a life full of exploitation, abuse, and slaughter. And this is biological free range. I saw my grandma do this in her backyard. So this is the best of the best. It can get so much worse. Like these
Yeah.
practices are standard practice across the board. So how many more animals should be exploited for you guys before you make a change?
I could quit. I feel like.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
Okay.
Also with the how do you say it, like the meat alternatives or whatever. A friend of mine is a vegetarian, and vegetarian. So I've tried with him a lot of like those meat alternatives, and
they're great, right?
It's honestly great. If you put it in a dish or whatever, you honestly can't tell the difference a lot of the
Exactly.
time.
You can also eat just, like plants.
Yeah, exactly. You don't even need the
Exactly,
alternative meats,
alternative,
or you can just have vegetables or whatever.
Yeah, you can have a whole food plan. Like can have whatever
Yeah.
diet you want, right?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's just about not creating more victims behind
Yeah,
us. And like, do you think you have a moral obligation to abstain from creating more victims?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. Like, I'm
Definitely.
an animist, you know.
Yeah, I love animals as well. So
Yeah, so we can't
I feel
love.
like I have to.
Yeah, exactly. We can't
Yeah.
say we love animals while at the same time forcing them into slaughterhouses and in conditions that you just saw now, like
Yeah,
shit
yeah.
like that, right? Okay, well,
The video of the cow, man, that broke me.
I appreciate you. I appreciate you wanting to watch that. Not a lot of people want. I'll give you a card. I recommend. I'll give you also a card. There you
Yeah.
go. Yeah.
Thank you.
So I recommend you watch. If you want to watch, that was from a documentary called Dominion, which you have right there.
Yeah.
Dominion. If you want to watch more, what happens in India, what happens in other countries, you have it there. The most important speech you'll ever hear. So these two resources. There you can find them on the Tree Movies, or you just scan that code or go on that website. They're great resources to watch. You also have Challenge 22 there.
Yeah.
They hook you up with a nutritionist, send you recipes every day. They help you go vegan. It's free. They
Yeah.
don't, it's all for you to
Yeah.
help you go vegan. And you also have my social media there. Are you guys tourists here?
No, we live here.
You
Yeah,
live
we
here?
live
How long have you been living here?
Like in Amsterdam?
Yeah,
I don't
or-
live in
well, I don't
Amsterdam.
know.
Yeah, I live here my whole life.
Ah, you live
I'm
here your
from
whole
the
life. Oh,
Netherlands,
okay, okay. Because I was gonna give you also a map of Amsterdam with restaurants, but
Mm.
I'm assuming that then you can find some
We
vegan
can
restaurants.
help
Yeah,
you. Yeah,
yeah.
thank you.
Okay. Well, I appreciate talking to you. You know, and I hope you have a nice vegan life because you guys are open-minded
Thank you
and
for
you
the
love
message,
animals.
man.
And
Yeah, thank you.
Powerful message.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I appreciate you guys so
Yes.
much. Okay, have a good
Have
one.
a nice day, man.
Yeah. Cheers.
Thank you for this.
It is just so nice when you meet open-minded people who admit that there's nothing they can do, you know, who say, hey, if I say I love animals, I can't keep doing this or participating, who want to watch the footage, who say thank you for telling me this. Hey, vegan gays. Hello, L. It is just amazing to see people like that, you know. I don't know. I'm grateful that people like that still exist. That's all I gotta say. And yeah, by the way, Amsterdam is quite pretty, right? With the lights and everything. Doing well there with those last people. Yeah, thank you, El. But they were quite nice. Yeah. Oh. Yeah. And hey, everyone, if you enjoyed the conversation and you like what I do, hit that like, hit that subscribe, and join the gang. I go live. I do live outreach quite often. And I don't always announce when I do it, so you know, you gotta subscribe and you gotta hit that notification bell, or you can just come on my channel every day and refresh until you see if I'm live or not. It's up to you. Just saying. Yeah, Moonrise Studios says I love what you do. Hey, thank you, Moonrise Studios. Okay, I think I have one more conversations in me, and that's it. We've been here almost 3 hours. Well, I don't know if you've even that one conversation. Let's see. Like, sub, comment, and be a member if possible, says Martin. Yeah, thank you, Martin. Pretty sure they're a fantastic farm to table daily block from there. They specialize in smoked duck wings. That is horrible, huh? That is absolutely horrible what you just said right there. Do you even realize what you said? That they specialize in taking the body part of a sentient being and smoking them only for your pleasure. Do you realize how messed up that would be if somebody did that to humans? Do you realize how messed up it is that we do that to any sentient individual? I mean, you probably can't really realize because you were taught that it's okay to do this to animals. You were taught that that's normal. And just like people during slavery times, they didn't think slavery was bad. Just like that, you think the same, that it's probably not that bad that we do this to animals. But it is. It is very bad. Shabane Rezali says, hey. What would you say to non-vegans who presume to believe that you're manipulating others rather than pulling them out of their own manipulations? I mean, Cornell, that's a good question. To be honest, you know, when people think that I manipulate them, there's nothing you can really say because that they just start on the premise of assuming that about me, right? I mean, what else is there that I can do? I'm literally sitting here, holding a sign, waiting for people to come to have a conversation with me. Like, literally, that's what I'm doing. Sure, sometimes I ask people, hey, do you want to have a conversation with me? But I try to get consent from people when I talk to them. I don't force anybody into conversations, and then all I do is ask questions based on what they assess their values are, right? I first establish a moral baseline, and then I try to ask questions based on that moral baseline. Sure, sometimes I describe, I explain what's happening, because some people may not know, right? So I also try to inform. But at the end of the day, as I tell absolutely everyone, I cannot possibly police them. I cannot possibly tell them what to say, what to do, or what to believe. They are the ones doing it themselves. They are the ones making the decisions themselves. So all I can choose to do is have conversations with them, explain it to them, try to see that they are not in line with their own morals, which has been the case with every person I talked to today, and try to ask them if they can align their own morals with their actions. That's all it is. And I saw somebody ask me where I am, where are you from, and where are you? I'm originally from Romania, but I live in Amsterdam, and I am in Amsterdam right now. AD says that they will be supporting animal violence and animal exploitation for lunch and for dinner. So AD, I'm assuming that you don't care about animals, or what exactly do you think justifies being violent towards animals for something that you like? Just because you like it? So if somebody likes to be violent, they should be allowed to be violent? Is that what you're saying? Cool hat. Thank you. I got this as a present from a friend, actually. It's a hat with a lot of history. You know, this hat, I lost it on a bus at some point. I had to call the company to find out where they have their lost and found. I was a week without it. I was sad that I didn't have it because I like Rick and Morty, you know. I think they do a great job at explaining certain topics. There's even an episode that portrays veganism and shows just how fucked up our society is. But yeah, eventually I did find it again. So yeah, it's got some history. Whew. I think I might be it. I think I might need to go to the bathroom. And Chip's vegan arms are bigger than yours. Yeah. Yeah, I actually have pretty big arms. Pretty big arms and chest. And I have no problem. By the way, is anybody interested ever in me showing you my workouts or my routine in the gym or stuff like that? And I don't do it because I don't think anybody cares. Moonrise Studio says yes. I want Chip's arms, says L. What does it say in the sign? The sign says, I'm doing a social experiment. Come talk to me.
It's the line bound.
Martin says it's looking cold there. It's not that cold. Like you see, my thing is like I would even open my jacket, but I have a shirt that says plant power. I don't want people to catch on, so I hold it there. You guys want to try a social experiment? Nice. You okay being live for my YouTube channel?
Hello.
What's your name?
Issy.
Where are you from?
Egypt.
Egypt. Nice to meet you, Issy.
Nice to meet you.
So, Issy, do you respect animals?
I have 7 cats and 2 dogs, so I guess.
You have 7 cats and 2 dogs.
Yeah.
Do you like animals?
In general, yeah.
So, you have 7 cats and 2 dogs. What can you tell me about them specifically? Do you see them as members of your family, or do you see them as, I don't know?
Members of my family, like especially my cat. I raised it since it was like a kitten because her mom died. So technically, she's like my daughter. So.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Love it. Do you have? Do you see her expressing emotions? Do you see her having thoughts? How do you see her?
I think that cats specifically, they have a certain personality. Sometimes like they're moody, sometimes they're passionate, but some people call them selfish as hell, but they're not selfish. This is just their personality and how they act.
Do you think that because you said how many dogs?
7? 2 dogs.
2
but
dogs.
I'm more of a cat person.
Okay.
Yeah.
So between the cats, have you seen a difference in personality? Do you think each individual cat has a different personality?
Yeah. I have an orange cat.
Yeah.
His name is Odin. He's also like weird. He has certain personality. I have other cats who don't like to be touched, even though like we kept them for a long time, but they just don't want to be touched. They just want to sit and eat and shit.
Like that. Do you think that Odin and I forgot the name of your other cat?
It's Ellie. That's
Ellie.
like my daughter. Yeah.
Odin and Ellie. Do you think they deserve moral consideration? And when I mean moral consideration, I mean that they shouldn't be objectified. They shouldn't be treated as objects.
Yeah, of course.
Of course, right?
Yeah.
And do you think that there's something specific about them that makes them worthy of that, or do you think all animals deserve moral consideration?
Of course, all animals should be respected. Like we're we're kicking them out of their habitat, and it's not good.
Yeah, and I love that you said all this, and I want to ask you, what do you think about the animals that we don't usually think about? The animals that we force into slaughterhouses for food, for clothing. Do you think we're respecting them? Do you think we're taking their moral consideration into consideration?
Yeah, of course. Look, I'm not gonna like be a hypocrite and say like I don't eat meat. I eat meat, but I don't like using leather products or stuff.
Why is that? Why is it that you don't like using leather?
Sorry, say that again.
Why don't you like using leather? You said.
Because I feel like it's technically like you're being a serial killer. Like like Jeffrey Dahmer is like he keeps.
Because you
their
have
heads-
alternatives, correct?
It's like it's not. I feel like it's like keeping them as souvenir. Like these animals are just like us. They deserve.
Yeah, it's
to be
fucked up to wear
respected.
somebody's skin, right?
Yeah,
That's the reality. So why isn't it fucked up to kill somebody for food when we have alternatives then?
Come again?
Why isn't it fucked up to kill or to use somebody as a resource, as a food, when we have other alternatives?
Yeah, I agree.
Right?
Yeah.
So then, if you see it as fucked up, what is stopping you from never participating in this, from never putting an animal to a slaughterhouse, from giving them the respect that they deserve, the moral consideration that they deserve?
Look, like I said, I'm not like a hypocrite. I like, to eat meat, but there are some things that
But
like
don't
from,
you? Yeah, go on. Sorry.
like as long as I like.
But don't you think you're being a hypocrite when you're saying that you respect animals, but at the same time you're paying for them to go into slaughterhouses for
I'm
something
not.
that you don't actually need?
Well, for me, I was like raised this way, like maybe in a society or community that says that eating is okay. So for me, I always thought about like stop eating meat or
Yeah.
using animal products and stuff. But I like to go to the gym, for example. So
Oh,
I
so
need
do
some. I know there's vegan proteins and stuff, but just I'm not saying like animals should be killed or like they should be, but it's just like some people are born this way and they're used to that, and it's it's hard to change some habits.
But do you think that, because I understand that if it's a habitual thing and it's hard, but do you think that in the situation, let's put it back, somebody who was born during slavery times, do you think that they were born in a time when they thought slavery is okay, it's not a big deal, everybody does it? Do you think that did that make slavery moral?
No,
No.
but
Do you think
it's
do you
a
think it's
different
the
thing,
same case
actually.
for this?
Like if you're saying it's kind of like a more fucked up thing, like because like you're doing this to other humans. Some people like do these to animals because, like you said earlier, like some people think animals are less formed.
But do you know how they justify doing slavery to other humans?
Sorry, come again?
Do you know how those people justified enslaving humans?
According like to what I read, like they think like they're lesser form, like
Exactly.
the Africans are less,
Yeah.
and they're like
And that somehow morally justifies exploiting and slaughtering them.
Yeah,
Sorry,
yeah.
like enslaving them. That's the same reason we used to justify it, to exploit animals, right?
Yeah.
To use them for their flesh. Do you think that? Because you said you don't want to be a hypocrite, but do you think, are you not being a hypocrite when you say you respect animals, but at the same time you're forcing them to slaughterhouses?
Well, if you're saying like directly, like I pay money for them, yeah, it's
Because you have
hypocrisy. I'm not-
alternatives.
yeah,
Nobody's
of course.
forcing you to pay for that.
Yeah, look, like I said, like not certainly on this matter. Like maybe for you or other people here on the street, they have like some morals or some aspects of their lives where they accept, and then others they turn a blind eye to. So what I'm saying is, I'm like I don't support like animals like killing or like being treated the way they are. But like I said, it's just like I
don't
have.
you support it? Because you say you don't support it, but then your actions
But
would
I'm
say
not-
otherwise, right?
Why are you trying to put me in a tight corner here?
I'm sorry, I'm not trying to put you in the corner. I'm just trying to show you that I understand where your values are, and I appreciate your values so much. You seem
Yes.
like a person who has the values in the right point. But you, just like me, just like everybody else, you're a victim of circumstance. You were born in a world where you did not live up to your own values. And all I'm trying to say is that you can live up to your own values. You can choose that your actions also say the same thing that your values do. And if you say you respect animals, then you can always choose to not put them in slaughterhouses.
That's true.
Right.
So like the older you get, sometimes like if you keep an open mind, your morals change and your values change, and you see world from a different place.
Yeah.
So I hope like there's a time for me, maybe like you said, like try to stop being a hypocrite and actually have more respect for the animals. And like again, I say like I do not support this, but at the same time, for the time being, I think I cannot stop eating meat. So
You can, you just
can't.
choose not to.
Yeah, I guess.
I just want you to be clear about your position. So, because I know it can seem like we can put it, it can seem a bit
Can I
confrontational.
leave for a minute because my friend is waiting?
You can leave.
Yeah.
I'll just finish with this. Like it
Okay.
can seem a bit confrontational what I'm telling you, but the reality is that you have a choice. You can stop. You just choose not to. But when you choose not to, you're going against your own morals. And worst of all is that you're forcing innocent animals, just like your cats, into slaughterhouses, into places where they don't want to be. And they all want to live. They all want to be free. And none of them want to be used as an object for something that, especially in the absence of need, right? Especially in the absence of need. You understand that?
I'll reflect on that tonight, or
Let me
when
give
I'm
you a
walking.
card to help you with that reflection.
Okay.
And I recommend you watch The Most Important Speech You'll Ever Hear. You just gotta scan this code or go on this website and type in this code.
That chip
It's
guy.
called The Most Important Speech You'll Ever
All
Hear.
right, nice to meet you.
Hey, nice to meet you.
conversation.
Yeah, and
See ya.
have a nice vegan life.
too.
Don't live up to your own moral values, okay? There you go. Have I imposed any values on anybody? I have not. And if you enjoyed that conversation, I'll just say it again. Please hit that subscribe and that like. We gotta get those numbers up. We don't have to know. It's just something that brings me joy to see those numbers go up. It incentivizes me. That's all it is. Well done, says God. Vegan Gay says nice. We have a person who says whose name is actually God. Interesting. If you're thinking about ending it, that's it. Yeah, that might be a good time to end it indeed. I think I will end it today. But before I end it, you know what? I know people like. I want to show you a little bit of Amsterdam. Why not? Right before I end it, just to see kind of where I'm at. I think it's always nice to get a little bit of perspective from my view, so that you can understand kind of where I'm at, what not, and sometimes that helps when you see the place. So I'm just gonna move the tripod a little bit. It might be a little bit shaky because, well, there's a thing here. So this is a nice canal that I've been sitting here on the corner of. There's some nice, beautiful lights. There's a lot of people who stop by on this bridge in particular to take photos, and they've been stopping all around. I'm right next to a bridge and next to another canal. Of course, it's Amsterdam. It's full of canals. And behind me, or rather in front of me as I was staying, is the museum where I normally stay. But yeah, these days I moved because there weren't enough people. So yes, so that is it, yes. Maybe I should be. It's a good spot, says Cornell. Yeah, I think it's a good spot. Looks like a Van Gogh painting. Yeah, it does look like a Van Gogh painting. I'm so glad I found this channel, says Cornell. Hey, thank you, Cornell, for being here. I appreciate you. I appreciate feedback. I appreciate you telling me all that. So, yeah. Wade Harris, I don't know what you mean that I can't answer. I can answer whatever I want to answer. Maybe I just don't want to answer. I don't even know what you asked, but whatever. Okay, let's see. Come on, ask me something. Okay, I can see people wanting to ask me something. So before I go, I'll just allow you non-vegans or vegans or whatever, whoever is in the chat and wants to ask me something, ask me and I'll try to reply. Svet says, I gotta go back to doing activism, have been lazy lately. Please do, Svet. It does help, just having one conversation with one person can change, can make changes, can do ripple effects. You never know. Okay, I see no questions. Therefore, doing outreach on Friday. Can't tomorrow because my voice is shot, lol, says L. Oh, I'm sorry, L, about that. I'm sorry. I hope I might be online tomorrow also, by the way, FYI, everybody. How do you balance supporting companies like Apple while judging people who eat meat? Wait, Harris, first of all, let me explain it to you this way. First of all, I think I have a moral obligation, right, just like you, just like everybody else, to make the choice that has the least systemic oppression, right? Whether that is, and that, of course, when you buy a phone or an Apple product or whatever it is that you buy, you will inherently participate in some form of systemic oppression. Some you cannot live without, right? Like it's not difficult to argue that you can't possibly live without a phone in today's society. You just can't. It's as easy as that. However, in the case of a phone, for example, I personally choose to always buy secondhand any electronic that I buy because I just don't want to create more oppression, right? Theoretically, when you're supporting a secondhand product, you're not necessarily supporting more oppression, or you're in fact trying to minimize it as much as you possibly can, right? And from secondhand, from a person, from an individual, not necessarily a company, right? So you try to do your best. That's the whole point. But when it comes to animal products, when it comes to food, clothing, entertainment, all that, you always have readily available options, and you have the same moral obligation there to choose the one that is the least oppressive, the least harmful. So that would be to go vegan. That would be to not support any animal exploitation, because you always have that choice. There you go. That's it. And Wade Harris, you can live without a phone. No, you cannot. Not in the Netherlands. You need a phone. You need a phone for a lot of things. You have to have a phone here. Yeah, believe it or not, in this society, you need a phone. The LTN, Rachel Emily has a question. Okay, let's see. Rachel Emily asked me a question. Let me see. I'm gonna scroll back up. Rachel Emily, what are you doing to stop the exploitation? Buying land for free roaming? Buying animals from the auction? What am I doing to stop the exploitation? Rachel, so there's people who can do activism in all sorts of ways, right? Like there's people who will adopt other animals and help them out. There's people who will go to vigils, which is basically them sitting outside of slaughterhouse, giving animals water, trying to help them on their last day of life, have at least some form of I was going to say compassion, but it isn't really compassion, but rather empathy, to feel a little bit of empathy towards what they're going through. And then there's people like myself, who's an activist, who I try to speak to people and try to make changes on this side. There's of course also other people who are trying to make changes on the side of systemic changes. There's all sorts of activism that you can do. What I personally choose to do is speak to people on the ground, because I feel I'm good at this, and I feel like I'm enjoying it, and I feel like I'm in a city. Amsterdam is a city where I can talk to a lot of international people, where I can go at any place in time and do activism. So I can make the most effort here that would make the most difference. I believe that is the way I can make the most difference at this point in time. Will I do this forever? Who knows? Maybe at some point I'll get into politics and I'll try to change the system from there. I don't know. But yeah, that's what I do. I don't do direct contact with any animals per se, because I'm also a highly empathic person. I wanted to go to a vigil at some point, but I cry watching videos of what animals go through. So to go to vigils and notice them in real life, it breaks my heart. When Alexandra, the Radicale Veganerin, was here, we went to some farms because she's filming for her documentary in relation to animals. And when I went to those farms, I literally cried. It's kind of, I cried, I cried when I saw that, knowing what these animals are go through, knowing what they have been through. It's sad. That's just it. It's sad. There's nothing you can do about it. And hey, I'm man enough to admit my emotions. I'm man enough to admit that I cried, that I feel sad for them. So yeah, let's see. What else? Any other questions? It's normal to cry, says Keisha. Yeah, exactly. It is. It's freaking sad. But I'm also, as I said, I'm a hyper empathetic person, especially towards animals. Not always towards people, because I can't always read the intent of people. But, towards animals, it's always. God asks me, real name. Is Chip your real name? My real name is Ciprian, but people call me Chip. It's short, yeah. But yeah, we've had enough for today. Hyper empathetic, says Sensi, yeah. We've had enough for today. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here. And if you're not subscribed, subscribe. If you're not vegan, go vegan. Stop being violent towards animals. There's no reason to be violent. You have options. That's all it is. If you are vegan, hey, do some activism. Speak up for somebody. Do something nice. Thank you so much for everybody who donated. I don't even know who donated. I appreciate you so much. I will look afterwards and drop a comment. I hope I don't forget. Sometimes I forget, and I'm sorry if I forget. But I will look and want to donate a comment. So thank you so much for that. Sorry, I will try to drop a comment about the donations to thank you. I might go live tomorrow again, but I'm not 100% sure. So keep an eye on that. Subscribe, hit the notification bell, and all that beautiful thing. And yeah. Thank you for being here. Oh, and of course, thank you so much, Martin. Thank you so much for the moderators. Martin, I saw you moderating. I'm sure others have done moderation also. Thank you so much also for that. Thank you for everybody in the chat who has been talking to non-vegans, to vegans, to everybody. Just do it. Just do all this. Just keeping the whole conversation going. I appreciate you. Moonrise Studio says do more fitness content. I will do more fitness content. Yeah. Rachel asks me, how do you stop animals from breeding? I don't want to stop animals from breeding. I want to stop humans from breeding animals. There you go. Yeah, I want animals to have body autonomy. So if animals want to breed, they should be allowed to breed. That's all it is. But yeah, okay. Thank you, everybody, for being here. I got to go to the bathroom. I just, yeah. Show us your cycle. What's a cycle? Oh, you mean like... do you actually mean steroids? Because I'm flattered if you think I take steroids, but I don't. Yeah, I actually just work out hard. But I will do some fitness content. You know, just put it. I don't know exactly what you're thinking, but I will think of something cool that you guys might enjoy, and you know, maybe we'll just do a whole day with me where I show you my gym stuff. The food that I normally eat, so that you can see how I can get 250 grams of protein per day, because I get 250 grams of protein per day, and kind of how a day when I do activism looks like. You know, maybe you'd be inspired by that to do it yourself or something. I don't know. And of course, there's no obligation for anybody to be part of that. So thank you so much, everybody, for being here. And as I said, thank you for everybody else. What's for a meal today? Asks me somebody. Okay, I'll just answer this last one and then I'll go. What's for meal today? When I go home, I'll be having some potatoes, some air-fried potatoes. I like to mix some ketchup and mustard together. It's kind of a weird thing that I do. I mix ketchup and mustard together. And then they have a really nice taste. They have a really good tangy taste. Then I put some kimchi in it. I know, again, it sounds weird. Don't judge me. To put kimchi, although you can judge me, I don't know, whatever. And then I take all that mixture and put it on top of the air-fried potatoes and mix it. Oh my God, that tastes so good. And on the side of air-fried potatoes, I usually just air-fry some tofu. That's what I'll do tonight. With no actual flavor, with no extra flavor added to it, because I just like air-fried tofu simple. I'm kind of weird that way. And some veggies like cucumbers, cherry tomatoes, bell paprika, and bell pepper, and one more, but I forgot. Oh, and carrots. That's it. That's my meal. That's my go-to meal almost every day. It's easy to make, it's quick, and yeah, I enjoy it. And I get a lot of vitamins and nutrients from it. So anyway, thank you so much, everybody, for being here. I'm gonna go. I have to go to the bathroom. I appreciate you being here. Subscribe, okay? Don't forget about that.